Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and I've got a very special episode today. We are going to be diving into the final of the epic Penguin TV show, and I've got a very special guest who's the only man I can review this with. Eric, how you going, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm excited to talk some Penguin, and Batman wanted to be here even though he wasn't in the show. So yeah.
If everyone who's watching right now, he has a life-size cutout of Robert Pattinson's Batman. Which did you tell me before that you go to bed with this?
Yeah, when he's when he's open to it, when he's not like busy, fighting crime at night.
I know only sends only has his lights come out, nothing else. Only his spotlight in the sky and nothing else.
Oh, yeah. As long as there's no bat signal.
Yeah. All right. How you been traveling, man? As we spoke before, it's already been 3 weeks since the Joker 2 review when you came on the show, and I'm pretty sure by now Joker's on streaming.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was actually wasn't. Now I'm thinking of it. I think it was a good 4 or 5 weeks now.
Yeah, or maybe 4 weeks now. You're testing me now.
No, I think it was 5 or maybe 6 weeks.
No way.
Yeah, time flies.
I know, it's only 5 weeks left.
Wait. Maybe not that long. Yeah, maybe since the movie actually came out.
It's only 5 weeks to Christmas as we're talking right now. That's the scary thing.
Good time for movies though.
Damn right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, yeah. We are episode 176, and now we're up to 182.
So it's a couple weeks ago.
A weeks, about a month. Yeah. And as I said, now the Joker 2 is pretty much on streaming, and how poorly that performed, and Jesus.
Hey, but Quentin Tarantino and Hideo Kojima, they know it's gonna be a classic one day.
I know you sent me that, but I don't. The first Joker, yes, that is going to be a classic. That is going to be timeless. But I would probably just shape up Joker 2 is basically a Disney direct-to-DVD sequel.
Okay. I mean,
everyone who's listening right now, he's raging. He is sorry.
No, I don't know. I've just accepted that movie is not for everyone, but I think it has a lot to offer. Maybe just not what people wanted.
Not what people wanted or what they expected. As we said in our review, there's a lot of aspects of that film which are fantastic and work really well. But to be all real, I think that, as I said, it works better just as an epilogue in my eyes than being a solid sequel to the first one.
I was thinking, it'd be cool if it would almost since they designed it as a musical, I'm maybe they should actually do it as a musical, a live.
Oh my god! You want to see a Joker Broadway show?
No. But then they could since it is an epilogue, they could, as it goes along, it could intercut with the story of the first one, so you get the whole story, and it's a complete experience. And I'm and they could even maybe tighten up some things that were maybe a little unclear or messy in the movie.
They could definitely do that. You could definitely. You could either do it 2 ways. You could either have the first one and then have the second one as epilogue shorten it, or you could have the first one shortened and just have this as the epilogue.
Yeah, I think or go back and forth, as they're since the whole second movie's like discussing and like dissecting what happened in the first one and like kind of
Oh,
thematically like intercut it like Lost style.
yeah, you like Lost Style.
Yeah,
Oh god.
I just started the final season of that, by the way. I told you I was watching that, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and
Is
how's
that
it
one?
been?
You've seen all of that one or?
No, it's funny enough. I lost interest. I think after third season.
Oh man, no, I'm like I think
You
this is the hardest I've ever binged this long of a show. I've been like barely a day goes by without watching at least one.
How many seasons of Lost were there in the end? It was
There's 6.
6. Okay.
But like it's crazy. I know like the story gets nuts, but like I don't know. I think it's really good. I really like it. Still need to see this infamous like ending, but
Yeah, I would love to know when you because I remember reading about the ending and very much like a lot of TV shows, people were angry about the ending of.
but when I actually look at the ratings for it now, the last season and everything, it's not like actually that bad compared to like I don't think it was hated the way like the Game of Thrones finale was, even though
Oh no.
I like that one too. But
No, I think Game of Thrones would have to be the last TV show I can think of in my head where there was just an utter uproar of WTF.
yeah, but I mean again, like
Which we're talking about a show that has a nearly perfect ending, sort of. Penguin has a great ending.
oh, you mean the Penguin? I'm like, wait, what do you mean?
I like Penguin has a great ending, which we'll get into later.
I mean, yeah, without spoiling anything, I mean the Penguin's just kind of perfect the whole way through, isn't it?
I don't know. We'll find
Yeah,
out.
sorry.
But no, yeah.
Not spoiling, not saying whether I liked it or not. I just said it's absolutely perfect. That's all.
Yeah. We'll find out. But let me know when you get to the end of Last of Us. Lost, because I'm curious to know what your feedback is or on your letterbox, which everyone who's listening in who hasn't already, Eric's letterbox will be in the show details, so definitely go check him out and give him a follow. And go check out all his reviews. He's one of the best, and he was, I think, the first person I followed on Letterboxd.
Oh wow, thanks.
Yeah, no, of course. But as always, we're going to get into the latest pop culture news, and then we're going to dive into the reviews. So the very first one we'll go up is that we got the very first image of How to Train Your Dragon live action film that's coming out next year. Were you a fan of How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah, I actually didn't see the first one in theaters, but I saw the second and third in theaters. And yeah, I mean all three are really good. I think I'm in the minority. I think the second one was my favorite. I like how like just big and crazy they went with that one. Sorry?
I'll just keep going.
Oh yeah, no, and then you even got Kit Harington's a voice in the second one, and I think maybe the third.
I think he was in the third too.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because that film just hit all the right, that first one just hit all the right marks. And the second one and the third one stayed strong to me and is one now is such a beloved movie franchise. And people are so excited to see this film finally come to live action.
Are they? I mean, I'm curious, but I don't know. I know one of my friends who's like an animator. He hates like all these live action remakes like with a passion. So I know he's not excited, but I mean, it's one that I think
he's excited for Lilo and Stitch, right?
My friend?
Yeah, he's excited for the Lilo and Stitch, right?
Oh, of course not. No, I don't think he's. I don't know if he's watched a single one of the live action remake things, but. I mean, this one's different though. Have we gotten like a DreamWorks one before?
That's a good question. I don't think we have actually a DreamWorks live action adaptation.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
no, I don't think so.
Shrek hasn't gone live action yet.
Oh God, we don't need that. It's bad enough for getting Shrek 5.
But how about the Boss Baby live action?
No, I don't think. What's his name? Alec Baldwin's going to be doing any work anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Also, I don't know how well he'd play a baby in live action, but
No, neither do I. Trying to think. No, this could very well be the first one.
yeah, I think it must be.
That's coming to it, but it's it's coming out next year on June 13th, 2025. Jeez, I'm pretty sure that's for. Oh no, yeah, Superman, Fantastic Four, and this
It's July or this one's June?
June.
Okay, the other two are July, right?
July. All right, so just before. God, every time I feel like every week when I look at more of these dates, I feel like Jesus, 2025 is just getting packed and more packed.
I don't know. I'm still not. It's weird actually. 2025 is not like a year with anything I'm like quite over the moon about movie wise. Honestly,
Thunderbolts.
I mean, it looks like fun, but I'm not like. I don't know. I mean, probably Superman's I guess my most anticipated, but even it, I'm not like as high on as I usually am for like my top movie of the year. But
Well, I'm trying to think. Now you got me. What's my? I'd probably say my top film of next year that I'm really looking forward to is Fantastic Four. Not because it's it is because of Marvel, but I'm excited to see the MCU's crack on the Fantastic Four after the dismal display that we got that reboot a few years ago by Josh Trank. I'm just excited to see how they do it. Not to mention, it's going to have like that 1960s-esque vibe to it. The cast is stellar. So that's probably the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited. I guess all the Marvel movies will be probably in like my top 5 or so anticipated, but yeah, it's I don't know. I might actually give the edge to Thunderbolts. Like none of them I'm over the moon for, but Thunderbolts I'm like I think I'm just a sucker for that kind of formula, like Suicide Squad, but the Marvel edition.
I'm excited for it. After the trailer that dropped last week.
Oh yeah, like the really long extended
scene
and all that.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be different, and the fact that unlike the Suicide Squad, it's the fact unlike the Suicide Squad that went up against a supernatural being, you got the Thunderbolts going up against a Superman.
A what man?
A Superman.
Oh, are they?
One of the guy that looks like the guy. There's a guy in there that. Oh my god, I can't remember his name. The one that says, "Oh, what's his name?" Yeah, Sentry.
I think you mentioned before, yeah.
Yeah, the Sentry is basically almost the Superman in the MCU.
Well, he's the villain though.
It'd be them going up against him. Yeah, well, that's what it's meant to lead to at the end, if anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I think just it looks. I mean, Fantastic Four doesn't have a trailer yet, but between Captain America and Thunderbolts, I'm a lot more excited for Thunderbolts.
Same. If we are between Cap 4 and Thunderbolts, I'm more excited for Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, like I said though, my expectations aren't crazy high for either of them per se, but yeah, I think Superman just is the one I'm most curious about because it's James Gunn, so that's like a director that I know is actually going to have like kind of a vision and all that, and it's kicking off the DCU.
I know that, which is going to be massive. Where are we? Here we go. Oh no, I thought there'd be a. Here we go.
Sorry, I know we were talking about DreamWorks, and somehow I made it about.
I know. Going straight off, and as another reminder is just how stacked again 2025 is. That we're talking about just Marvel movies. Outside of Marvel movies, we've got Avatar 3, we've got the new Jurassic Park. There's the Mission Impossible. There's the new Tron Ares.
Yeah, I don't know a lot. Like I don't know. I'm not sure if Tron's gonna be like a big hit or not, though. I mean, that's never been like a kind of a real like popular franchise per se, has it?
No, Tron Legacy had its problems, but it wasn't too bad. But in this one we're getting Jared Leto, so it's going to be Morbin time. So
Yeah, that's
everyone's
what I
really
mean too. Jared Leto, that's like a bit of a, I don't know, is that a red flag? I feel like it might be.
perhaps, but Disney's banking on it. But yes, we have gone a little bit off track. Oh no, we're still talking about 2025 movies. But yeah, How to Train Your Dragon. We got the first live action photos of it. They're very, very slim photos. But it is coming out in June next year. And I'm saying the fact if we're getting the photos now, I'd say we should get a teaser trailer next month.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, yeah. I sort of like forgot it was even coming soon. Then I saw these images and stuff. So
I did too. As soon as I saw the photos, I was like, "Oh, that's right. That's a thing."
yeah, it's like okay, they're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, maybe this will be better than a lot of the Disney ones have been. I don't know. I think it probably does lend itself better to live action than some of them have. Although
Well,
is it weird to me that like, or is it weird to you? Like, I saw the images of the dragon. They're still like, I feel like this is something where they could have redesigned the dragon a bit more to be like less, like it sort of looks just like the cartoon, basically.
yeah, I have seen the photos of the dragon, and I'm a bit iffy. I'm a bit iffy about it, to be honest. I'm like,
Like, if you're gonna do a live action, we'll could make it a bit more like, I don't know, Game of Thrones dragon.
yeah,
I
but
don't know.
then does that go too close to? Was it Aragon?
I
That movie?
mean,
Does that go too? Like, yeah, that goes too close to every dragon.
yeah, but I mean that was like forever ago. They'd be doing a different kind of thing with it. I mean, it would look a lot better.
It would.
I mean, because right now, like the best dragons on screen probably are the ones in like Game of Thrones and stuff,
Ah,
and
100%.
those aren't even movies. So like they haven't really done. I mean, I guess Smaug in the Hobbit movies, which I know you said you haven't seen, but he's pretty dope.
Yes, I haven't seen the Hobbit movies.
Sorry.
No, don't worry. Andy from the Galactic Core podcast constantly reminds me every time we talk about Star Wars. He's like, "Oh no, this was in Clone Wars, which you haven't seen." I'm like, "Yeah, yes."
And it's only 7 seasons.
Oh, I know. I got
And you have
plenty
to
of.
like kind of like look up the proper order to watch them in because they're not in order on Disney Plus.
Of course they're not. Why would they be? I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Firefly too.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Marvel, uh, Denzel Washington was in a recent interview talking about Gladiator 2, and he was talking about his upcoming films, and he said that he was talking to Ryan Coogler about a role for him in Black Panther 3.
Yeah, I heard that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to have too many thoughts on that other than like, I mean, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I think depending what character he would play, I think he would do fantastic as a villain in Black Panther, not as a hero.
Do you
But
think? Do you think like Black Panther though? Do you think that's like, is that where you want to see him? Like if like because it's like the MCU, and then it's like once you use that actor, it's kind of like oh okay. Unless they're gonna pull some weird multiverse Robert Downey Jr. stuff, it's like okay, so was that the best use of him? Because like there's a lot of actors that sort of just show up in the MCU, and it's like oh okay, so that was like that actor's role in the MCU, like Mads Mikkelsen, such an awesome actor, and then he's just kind of like throwaway villain in Doctor Strange.
No, that's true. I don't know.
I heard that like for a while people were like fan casting. I mean, obviously they were, but they fan cast everybody. But like fan casting Denzel Washington for like maybe like Magneto or something. I think that was a thing out there for a while.
Yes.
Right? I mean, who wasn't fan cast as Magneto? But yeah,
I know who's
But it's kind of like, or Giancarlo Esposito is now like just in Captain America 4, and I'm like, are they gonna like kind of waste him? I don't know. Kind of getting that vibe.
Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't waste him, but he seems really excited. And
Denzel Washington or
no,
Giancarlo?
yeah, no, Exposito. I forget his name.
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, he seems really excited to get into Cap 4 and what his character played.
Okay, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't. I heard he was just added in like reshoots though, or something.
He was. He was it.
I mean, I guess it is Marvel though. They could be like setting him up for other things, even if his part in this is relatively small.
You never know. You never know what he could pop up into. But I think Denzel. I think he could be, depending on what character he plays, he could just be a one and done for Black Panther 3. But it's going to be what his role would be. I think he would do fantastic in. I wouldn't want to see him die at the end. I would like to see him pop up again.
I mean, multiverse, you know.
Yeah, that's right. You know, he could play an elderly T'Challa.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're going to be pretty careful about that.
No. Well, no. I don't think there'll be a backlash to it because Denzel and Chadwick Boseman had a good relationship, like a really good relationship. So I don't think there'll be backlash if he played a much older version.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. To me, like I think the only one people would like really accept as like a variant of T'Challa would be Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
Like, I mean, he's already doing the Doctor Doom thing, and I mean, you saw his performance in Tropic Thunder.
Like, he could do it. He could do it.
I think that's the Black Panther we all want. If anybody else is gonna do it, I'm not saying we need someone else to, but like that would be my vote. But
no, and they could do it 100% because there's photos out there.
I know that would like set everybody on fire. They'd never do that.
Oh no, the internet would go nuts. You would never hear the end of it. But there's photos of there. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that forever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, they need a new Black Panther. Don't worry, here's Robert Downey Jr. coming in.
I mean, like that's the kind of thing I would have liked to see in the multiverse, like for fun. But yeah. But I guess I'm just twisted. I don't know.
No, trust me. Well, we only allow twisted people on this podcast. It helps. Also, Lady Gaga is going to be in Wednesday season 2. No mention of what role she's going to take up, but she will be in there. Depending on what she does, I think she'll be a great addition to Wednesday season 2, which at the moment currently has no release date, and it's most likely going to be like October next year for Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, Lady Gaga, I mean, kind of fits in. If you say she's in anything that's kind of like, I don't know, eccentric in any way, I'm like, yeah, she could probably fit in. Not that it has to be. I mean, like A Star Is Born or House of Gucci wasn't per se like super eccentric, but yeah, I mean, I could see her probably fitting somewhere in that show. I actually have seen that whole first season. I don't know why, but I have. Actually, it was.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not really my thing, but like, I sort of like watched it half brain dead because I was like, no, just because I was. It came out like right when I did my. You know that I mentioned I like went to LA like 2 years ago for the Game of Thrones convention. Like December 2 years ago, and that's like the week I was there was like the week it came out. So like that was just Netflix was like the only thing they had in the hotel like access to, and So I
Just
just
binge
every
it.
day after the convention or whatever else I was doing there, when I was like just kind of toasted, but just lied on my bed and I put that on, and oh
This will do. This will do.
yeah. So I don't know how much I took it in, but it was okay to watch while I was like not all day.
Game of Thrones burnt out. No, I not to, no, and not to mention because of John Ortega's blown up because of Lady Gaga's song in that dance. That's also another reason why I assume that she's going to be in season 2.
Oh, was that her song in the Wednesday's like dancing to in that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that just goes to show my music knowledge is pretty limited.
No, it's right. But yeah, she's going to be in season 2. It just sucks that, again, so far. I did see someone's tweet the other day, and I thought, I understand things take time, but I saw someone's tweet that was like, can we normalize seasons coming out every year? Can we normalize it so there isn't such a big gap?
I mean, that's how it used to be, but
Yeah.
I feel like no. I mean, now we've normalized it being a big gap.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I remember, for example, because I'm just watching like Dexter. Every year there was a new season of Dexter. But now it's like you're waiting 3 years, you're waiting 4 years to get a new season.
I mean, it makes sense in the like respect of like because it's like it's different now, right? It's like bigger productions and things now, but than it used to be for TV. But also, it's weird because Game of Thrones was like sort of that transitionary show where it's like it's sort of what pushed the industry that way. I feel like if you can chalk it up to any one show into that more like I don't know bigger productions for TV being like a thing.
Well, there was movie quality productions for Game of Thrones. That was a show that was just epic when it started coming out, of just the production level on it.
And just the fact it's still like it feels like that transition, because even though at the time it's like, oh, okay, it's 10 episodes, which maybe was on the shorter side at the time. Now that's like, oh, wow, that's on the longer side now. And it came out every year. It's like, I don't know. Now in hindsight, I'm like, how did they put that out every year when all this other stuff that like doesn't look as expensive or as, I don't know, frankly, like just as much of a thing take like so much longer. But like that show did come out every year until like the last season.
It did. And then the infamous ending. But like for like one show I could talk about, like I think of at the top of my head, is like The Boys. Like The Boys is going to season 5, which is the last season, but I'm like, it's 2 freaking years away.
Yeah, it's weird to me because I'm like, that shows a decently big production, but even that, it's not like Game of Thrones or something. Yet it takes like way longer. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they just like maybe everyone on Game of Thrones like was like dead after, so they decided they needed to like go easier on the production. I don't know.
Maybe like, don't get me wrong, like I'm excited the fact that we're getting season 2 of Gen V, but at the same time, like, cool. Can I just have the final, please?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like that, and that's the weird thing too. Like at the time, like people were like complaining about how long of a wait it was for the last season of Game of Thrones. Like that it was 2 years. Wasn't even quite a whole 2 years, and I'm like, okay, so no, it's like that for every show now.
I know, and there's some people out there that would say, "Oh, yeah, happy to wait longer now for that final."
Oh, for Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think time was the issue per se. It was
no, it wasn't. But another on top of that is Wednesday originally wasn't originally wasn't signed on as like, hey, we want 3 seasons of this show. Like there was no confirmation a season 2 was even season 2 wasn't even greenlit.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe a big difference now with like I think they would like greenlight shows maybe a bit faster before.
Yeah, well, they'll order it
more like movie franchises. Like if it gets another season, it's more like in a movie, like getting a sequel. That's why it takes more like that amount of time. I guess Game of Thrones, they were constantly filming it.
Well, that's exactly right, and that was ordered season. That was ordered season in advance. We want 3 seasons of this. Like for example, like
But I mean,
look,
so isn't stuff like The Boys? I'm sure that's been like on a few seasons. Yeah,
yeah,
but yet it still takes longer somehow. I don't know.
I know. And another one is Invincible. Like Invincible, like come on. They
I
ain't
kind of
saying.
understand though with animation, since like especially for TV, it's pretty high quality animation.
Mhm.
Like,
Well,
yeah, I can understand why that would take longer.
well, I'm excited. Well, even though I am complaining about Invincible, I'm glad to hear the fact it is coming in Feb, and we are getting a full season this time. We aren't getting the gap.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll probably be tuning in. I think on season 2 I was still not caught up, but now I'm all caught up, so I'll tune into that.
Oh, that's good. Excited for season 3?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited enough. I'm not like, I don't know, both Invincible and The Boys aren't like my favorite all-time shows or anything, but I enjoy them.
Oh no, well, Invincible just I just love the raw action and how it takes a piss out of superheroes. Both of them do. The boys do as well. But it just sucks the fact it's again the boys season, final season, and it's so far away. But at least Invincible's around the corner. And Wednesday, I predict Halloween next year will come out. Also, speaking of another TV show, and Game of Thrones, is that Sophie Turner apparently is up in talks to play Tomb Raider in the upcoming Amazon Prime TV show.
Yeah, I saw that. That's kind of interesting. I know they just like put out a Netflix like anime series
They
for Tomb
did.
Raider also, which
Yep. And she's voiced by Captain Carter.
oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
It wasn't too. I'm not into Tomb Raider enough that I'm gonna check out an anime just because, like I said, I'm already kind of like
if
not
you're
the
on the Lord
biggest
of the
on
Rings
anime.
one.
Like if there's a Batman anime, I'll watch it,
Yeah.
or if there's like or that Lord of the Rings one, I'm gonna check out. But yeah, but if it's like a live action Tomb Raider series, I'd be curious. I don't know. I think I saw the last one, the movie.
Uh, I didn't see that one. I think I've gone back and watched the first one again before I've watched that third one.
Yeah, I mean, they're not great, but I mean, I guess by video game movie standards, they're actually probably on the better side, all of them.
Yeah. Well, the first two, yes, and that's the thing is, I know a lot of people did complain, like there were, is gripes about a couple of details. I'm like, no, well, that's the thing is like Angelina Jolie, she portrayed the character perfectly. The character, she looked like the character, and those films you chuck up in like Uncharted, Indiana Jones esque. That's brilliant. Not to mention Daniel Craig plays a villain in one,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure. I think he played. I think he was that his role, and the very next one was James Bond
Oh, really?
because I think it was 2001 or 2002.
Casino Royale wasn't until like 2006, though.
Oh, see,
Probably had
okay,
some other things in
oh,
there.
okay, maybe a couple, but he
I
looks
think Layer
very.
Cake was the one that got him the role, right?
I think so.
The Matthew Vaughn movie, I think.
Yes, I think that was the one that kicked it off. And funny enough, as we're talking, there's still no mention of the new James Bond and when, where, and who.
Yeah, I'm kind of like just, I don't know. Honestly, like I'm okay with like just waiting and not rushing into another one, just because like they've never had like such a definitive ending in the franchise before than they did in the last one. So like, I feel like they do need time to like figure out what the right direction is to go.
Yeah. It wasn't Christopher Nolan said he would like to do a James Bond movie.
Yeah, he's always said that. I don't know, and then but I think that's out the window now for sure. Now that he's talking about his helicopter movie.
I know. A futuristic helicopter movie. The cast is so far looking pretty good. I'm like, I mean,
well, of course, the cast is going to be good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's funny that it's got like Tom Holland and Zendaya though.
Yeah, I know.
And I've heard people like joke like, oh, maybe it'll be like Marvel DC multiverse crossover, because it's like, even though that makes no sense at all, but like, because it's like you got Peter and MJ, and then you've got Anne Hathaway, like Catwoman in the Nolan verse. It's like he
Yes.
just needs to cast Christian Bale now, and then we'll see who Matt Damon's playing.
Exactly right. And then,
Maybe Matt Damon's just tagging along as like the performer for Thor or Loki or whatever.
That too, or it's Uncharted 2 helicopters. But no, the cast is absolutely safe. But and that's the thing is, like, I think going back, I think Sophie Turner would do a great job as Lara Croft. And the fact that this being under a Amazon Prime banner, I have full faith on what they're going to do with this show.
I don't know. Amazon's a bit of a mixed bag, I think, but
Boys, Fallout, and
yeah,
again, the Continental wasn't too great.
And then like Rings of Power, I don't know. I mean, I still haven't finished season 2, and I'm someone who likes Lord of the Rings. But
how could you not finish season 2? I haven't even started.
Okay, well, you haven't even seen The Hobbit. I can guarantee you The Hobbit's much better than The Rings of Power.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, Sophie Turner, obviously, I think she's really good in Game of Thrones. I thought she was fine as Jean Grey, I guess, but
yeah,
I don't know. I like Famke Janssen better as Jean Grey, so I don't know. We'll see.
So do I. So do I. And what I see, which I'm very curious about, which I don't know if you saw as well. Only because you. What if season 3?
Oh, the Storm and Mjolnir. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like What If. I mean, I still have to see the last season, but I'm like, sorry. I know I sound negative on a lot of Marvel stuff.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I don't know. I just feel like, well, this is kind of indicative of the multiverse saga in general, but like, especially with What If, it feels like just like, I feel like it's weird even that it's the last season. Like, I don't know why they're making this like the last season, as if like What If's just sort of something you can do forever, kind of. I don't know why they're capping it off here, other than they just like are like, we don't want to do it anymore. And then I just feel like, yeah, I guess the Storm thing is the most interesting thing, but also I just don't have high expectations, I guess, with what they're gonna do, because I just feel like the whole concept, they just like have played like so kind of safe and dull compared to what it could be.
They could be more outrageous, but I guess there's some stories they've done. I haven't thought of that before, and I have.
Yeah, no. There's certainly like good episodes in both seasons, but I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just fatigue, but I don't know. I remember just feeling after season 2, it was like, okay, I don't know. It's like, I feel like this could be a lot more exciting than it is. I don't know. Is that just me or?
No. I think I thought the first season was better than the second.
Yeah, like, and honestly, like, episode wise, they're probably similar in terms of how many I liked or didn't like, but just, I think the first one maybe partly just had a novelty, like it being the first time. It's like, oh, this is interesting. And then season 2 just didn't like really do anything new with it to really like feel like as interesting. I think it just felt like more of the same kind of stuff, and I know they had a weird thing about like, I don't know, it kind of bothered me. I don't know, this is just a me thing, I guess. I didn't like how many times they killed Tony Stark. I'm like, okay, I know. Like, what is this? Like, well, I don't know. It just feels like, I'm like, this guy's like the hero of the whole Infinity Saga, and now we're just like
killing him every 2 seconds,
killing him in every episode, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, once or twice, like, sure, I get it. It's What If, that's the point, but like, I felt like there's like
3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, and I was just not a fan of that.
Yeah, I think that from season 2, I think my 2 favorite episodes was the Happy Saves Christmas, and Justin Hammer came back for that one. And I think the other one that I found probably more intriguing was the Hela one with the crossover with Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I mean, and again, to me, I know I'm like a broken record with this, but I mean, I'm curious to see the MCU, like, or not the MCU, like the kind of what they're doing with Storm and stuff and that. I know it's like what if, but it's like it very much. Do you think they're going with like? I guess none of them are the MCU or the other universe versions per se, because that's the point. It's
Nah.
like each episode's its own universe, but
Mm.
they very much are like kind of like usually either MCU adjacent, or in this case it's like seems like X-Men animated series or X-Men 97 adjacent version of Storm.
I think it is. I think it's definitely not the MCU version, but the same girl, same voice actor for X-Men in X-Men and X-Men 97 is voicing Storm in this one.
So to me, I guess what I again, I might just be me, but I think again, if you're doing the multiverse and you're like hinting at these other things we've seen, like the before Marvel Studios being canon, then like I feel like in What If, those like we should get things closer to those universes too. Like there should be like some kind of versions of the characters kind of more like adjacent to the Fox versions, or even like I guess the other universes too. But like, you know what I mean? Because it just feels weird how it's all like this MCU adjacent stuff.
Well,
But they've said, oh yeah, no, the other stuff's there that we're gonna use sometimes for nostalgia if we feel like it. But What If's not really gonna like acknowledge that. I don't know. That's what it feels like to me.
well, you
It
never
just
know.
feels like they're just playing in this
could pop
very
up.
narrow lane, and it's like that kind of to me like takes a lot of the fun out of the whole concept.
Of What If. You know what is? Yeah, it's definitely MCU. They haven't gone to the Fox. They haven't gone to Deadpool. They haven't gone to Ghost Rider. I definitely don't think they'll ever go to Agents of Shield. They haven't gone that far, but you know the fun. Like as I said, seeing Storm holding Mjolnir to me, I'm like, that makes perfect sense, and I'll be very cool to see what other X-Men might show up.
Yeah, I guess I'm just I'm just like I'd like to see the Fox versions, but
Yeah.
or like again Fox adjacent. I know like none of these are like again this isn't, even though it's like the animated series version, it's like technically not, right, because it's technically a different universe. But
It's X-Men 97 universe.
no, but I mean like, isn't it? It's not though. I mean it's like it's very similar to that, but I mean like because even how we're saying it's all very MCU like, but technically none of them are in the MCU, right? The What If episodes.
No. Well, no, none of the variants or none of the episodes that we see are in the MCU. It's just MCU storylines going skew with the same voice actors.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Geez, how do we get from What If down to from Lara Croft? Anyway,
this is just what happens when I'm a guest, I think.
I know. Oh, because of Sophie Turner. That's right. Because of Jean Grey. But yes, Sophie Turner is the very first pick for Lara Croft in the upcoming Amazon TV show, which I'd say is a very 2026 timeline for this, if they're still trying to get it. So roughly, I'd say 2026 we'll be looking for this show to be on streaming. We've also got a second look at Scarlett Johansson for the brand new Jurassic World Rebirth that's coming out next year. That is only the second photo that we've seen. It's coming out next year, and it will be kicking off again. It will be kicking off a brand new trilogy again. And it's coming out in the 2nd of July.
Yeah, July, that's a big month.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. Actually, why I am going to have a look right now, why we're talking about. Let's have a check. Let's check this out. Down. February, March, April, May. So June. Here we go. So June, to kick off June, we got the Ballerina, which is the John Wick spin-off. We got that's coming out on the 6th. The 13th, you got How to Train Your Dragon. On the 27th, you got Megan 2. And then in July, we've got the second Jurassic World reboot. The 11th, you've got the Superman movie. And then on the 25th, you got Fantastic Four. And then you got the Naked Gun reboot. Where is it? Keep going down. Actually, no, pull back. So let me pull back into May, going beforehand. So 30th of May, you got the Karate Kid sequel. 23rd, you got Lilo and Stitch. 16th, 23rd, you got Mission Impossible.
Is Lilo and Stitch like a theatrical release?
Yeah, live action movie. The second is Thunderbolts. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Can't forget about the Minecraft movie. Woo! But yeah, that's 2020. That's the few months going. So I'm going to be very busy. You're going to be very busy because there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that I need you to come on the show and we need to rant about.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you excited for another Jurassic Park reboot? Oh, it's not really. Sorry, my apologies. It's not really a reboot because it is a sequel to the first trilogy. It's a sequel to the second trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, reboot's kind of a loose term, you know.
Yeah.
But
trilogy
I don't know,
sequel.
Not really. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this last time, and that was like, I think I like scared you for a sec when I was like, oh, I mean, well, it's like not the best franchise, and I'm like, there's only one good movie, and I'm like,
oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you made me have a heart attack. Yeah, that's right.
But no, I'm saying the first one's great, but yeah, the rest is just. I think I'll not have a bad time watching it, but it's not like a movie I'm like highly anticipating either.
Yeah. It's like, I really can't. I must admit, I'm not like, I'll watch it, but I'm not really over the moon to be like, I can't wait to really dive back into this world again, which still feels so soon.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's weird how like a decade ago there was like all this excitement for all these different franchises coming back. And now it's so many of them just feel like, okay, so I don't know, there's just nothing feeling like special about it anymore. It sort of just feels like, again, I don't know if it's just our age, but I feel like somehow studios and all that didn't used to be as blatant, like with like being, obviously that's always what they want, but like I just feel like studios now are really bad at like hiding that the main reason they're putting everything out is just to make money. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. It's like, oh, here's another sequel. Oh, we're doing another reboot. It's like, we'll do something new. Like,
yeah, it's weird because I'm not even like I'm mainly like a franchise guy probably, but like there's just so many where it just feels kind of soulless, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. Again, do you think that's just as we get older, we notice that more, or like, I genuinely feel like though there's a shift like in movies, like, I don't know. I feel like just a decade or more ago in general, they were like less obviously being made just for the money, if that makes sense. Obviously they always were, but like, it was just like, I don't know. I'm not even saying they're necessarily all worse now. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it, but that's just like the feeling I have.
No, I can understand that. And I think it's a hard thing is that we're in the era of sequels, reboots, sequel trilogies. You know, we're in that era, and the hard thing is
we've been in like the reboot era kind of for like 20 years, though. I would say that like kicked off with Batman Begins, right? Like 20 years ago now.
Yes, but I feel like it's become more apparent in the past 10. Oh, sorry, past 5 years. Sorry, past 5 years, it feels a lot more apparent of reboots and sequels. You know, like, for example, like in the past week, you know, and we knew it was coming, but we got the trailer for the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And it's like, and apparently the rumor is Tom Cruise and Paramount have had this discussion of where it's going to be the last. Paramount apparently wanted it to be the last one, but Tom Cruise wants to keep going. I'm like, mate, it's number 8. And it's called Mission Impossible. No.
And it's called The Final Reckoning.
Yeah, sorry, it's called The Final Reckoning.
Yeah, I feel like that's them doubling because it was originally going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2, so it's like
Yeah.
now they're really doubling down on. Well, partly I think they just dropped the Part 2 because of Dead Reckoning 1 underperforming, but
Yeah. But
at
it
box
is,
office wise,
it did. Apparently, also this film
yeah,
has
this movie's
because
got
of
like a
delay.
crazy budget because of. But I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds like some of it was just sort of circumstance and it got out of control.
The delays, everything. Well, which I said to you last time, the reason why 2025 is so packed is because of the strikes last year.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I find it almost like weird in some ways how much people like are paying attention to the budgets now. It's like as if we're all like experts on what movies are supposed to cost and all that. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, I guess clearly a lot of these movies are losing money because of how big their budgets are. But
That they are. Well, it's because the budgets are so high, yet they're not making their money back. And not to mention, like, are they also gonna go back and change the title of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part One?
I think they are, yeah. I think eventually they're gonna roll out with like new 4Ks and stuff, probably with new packaging, and the first ones will be like collector's items when it's called Part
Yeah,
One.
pretty
Still haven't
much.
actually picked that up. I probably should while it's still called Part One, just so I can have that.
You should. Hundreds, yeah, $400 million the budget for Mission Impossible 2. Sorry, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's
see,
crazy
like,
because like what was like I mean I don't even know at this point what the highest budget movie is. That might be in contention,
yeah, I know. Oh, look,
but
here's
not
no,
really for the right reasons.
no, and like I'm just looking at it right now. Cruise expressed interest in continuing to make future films in the series as Ethan Hunt, despite both films having initially been billed as the set of the character, citing Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones until his late 70s. You can't compare that, mate. You can't compare that because Indiana Jones, like, there's only 5 of them, not 8.
Yeah, I mean, and that was another one that kind of didn't do well at the box office last year,
No,
which made me
I did.
sad because that was like my most anticipated movie last year, probably.
That was one of my most anticipated, and I really actually enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a whole lot more than the fourth one.
They're around the same for me. I think the I don't know. I rewatched them all last year, and I think I mean obviously the first three are way better, but I don't know. I don't think the fourth or the fifth are bad. But honestly, like I don't know. If I were to rank them, I'd probably give the edge to the fourth one, just because I feel like the fifth one was more unnecessary.
Nah, nah, mate, nah.
Because okay, I know it's cool to hate on Crystal Skull, but like I feel like that one wrapped
I'm
it
not.
up.
I'm not being a sheep and being hating on the train. I liked the story of Dial of Destiny. I found Dial of Destiny. Yes, he did go back in time. I just found that story a lot more grounded than the aliens.
I don't know. I find it weird when people want Indiana Jones to be grounded because
No,
like they've always been like
I know they've always been a little bit stretched.
that's
Because
kind of part of the whole thing is there's like this always like the supernatural kind of element to it.
that's true, like the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, I guess the first three did it a bit more subtly, but
Not to mention the CGI in the fourth one is terrible. You can't deny that. You can't deny that the CGI was not shit.
yeah, I mean it wasn't I don't know, I've seen worse like in newer movies honestly
Well,
too.
yeah, we all have.
Like that's the thing. I don't know. I mean for 2008, I don't know, it wasn't I don't know. I think to me I like both. Again, I don't dislike either, but I think what's it called? I feel like Dial of Destiny was a bigger missed opportunity than Crystal Skull was. I feel like Crystal Skull, for whatever issues it has, it was a movie that more or less was the Indiana Jones movie that made sense, dare I say, at the time. Whereas Dial of Destiny, I feel like, okay, if you're gonna like not bring back Shia LaBeouf and he's dead and all that, right?
Well, nobody
Then I
wanted
feel
him
like,
back.
huh?
Nobody wanted him back.
No, I know, I'm not saying that, but I mean, but like I feel like he was a better character in that story than like, again, nothing against her as an actress, but like Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character is in Dial of Destiny. I just feel like she should have been like, if you're doing like a whole story about like him like after losing his like kind of biological son and like
Yeah.
having like, what's the word, like a surrogate kind of child, kind of like,
Daughter.
yeah, but like that should have been Short Round. Like he literally like just came back in the spotlight and won an Oscar, and literally
Yes.
like that just like would have fit so much better, and he would have like brought it full circle, like that he was sort of Indy's like maybe not biological but kind of like a son to him,
The better
and
son.
that would have like brought it all full circle nicely after like in wake of the death of his like actual son.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give
like,
you
I don't
that.
know.
That
I
would
just
have been
feel
better.
like, whereas like I didn't feel like in Crystal Skull, like, oh, I wasn't in that one. I wasn't like, oh, Short Round should be here. But I'm like in Dial of Destiny, I'm like, you're doing another one, and you're still like, you're clearly this is the last one with how old he is. I'm like, you need to do something to like tie it back a bit more and bring it full circle, and they just didn't. I mean, they bring Marion back again, kind of, but like, I don't know. I really felt I just feel like that alone gives me the edge to Crystal Skull, because I feel like at least it didn't have like this Short Round void in it. That's how I feel about Dial of Destiny.
Fourth one had a Short Round.
No, I know he's not in it, but I didn't feel like that one like was obvious that he would be in it. Whereas the fifth one, it's like, okay, come on, like, and dude just won an Oscar.
Perfect timing.
Like, come on.
You can at least add him in. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
All right. I'll give you that, but
They're both close.
My letterbox review does not show that.
I mean, I'm way higher on both of them. I mean, it's just one of my like zillion hot takes, I guess. But
I know. Wow, what is going to be your hot take for the Penguin TV?
just not it.
Not it.
Not it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was some of the top news in the past week. But let's dive into the Penguin TV show.
Oh, I mean, that's my thoughts.
Oh, just thumbs down.
Yeah. No Batman. Right?
No Batman. No, so the Penguin TV show all wrapped up this past week, and it's a TV show. Now, I'm going to say this is a TV show that I was not expecting to be as what it was. I can't say that after the Batman, I was like, I really want a Penguin TV show. Like, don't get me wrong, Colin's performance was fantastic in it.
I kind of was. I was. He like, I love everything about the Batman, and he might have been my favorite part, even possibly.
Oh, he was. Besides Robert Pattinson, he was a standout. Him and Chloe, I can't remember who played Catwoman.
Zoe
sorry.
Kravitz.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz. They were the two standouts from that movie.
I mean, yeah, no, like everyone's good in it. I mean, Paul Dano, I think's pretty awesome as like a really twisted version of the Riddler.
It should have been Jim Carrey.
I mean, no. I don't hate Jim Carrey as the Riddler, but I mean, that movie.
Not in this version, anyway. But no, we've got 8 episodes of The Penguin. How do you feel when you watch the final episode? Which we are going to spoiler territory. Spoilers, left, right, and center. Is when you finish the last episode, how did you feel after watching that?
I mean, I guess kind of the way it felt like watching the whole show when it wrapped up. I'm like, it's really great storytelling when you're surprised and shocked by what happens, but also after it happens, then you're like, oh, well, of course that had to happen.
Yeah.
It's like it feels like inevitable, but only after you've seen it. Or at least that was my experience. It reminded me a lot of like some of the most like kind of heartbreaking moments in Game of Thrones and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Where
Yeah.
it's like very tragic, but also feels like, oh my God, how did you not see this coming when you look back?
110%. And obviously, we're both talking about the scene with Victor, aren't we?
Oh yeah, big time.
I was exactly like you. Like as soon as I saw that scene, I was like, oh, what the? No, no, this is literally a TV show about the freaking villain. He is the villain.
Yeah, well, I guess the whole like kind of point of the show that it's hammering. I mean, are we talking the end yet now, or do we want to like start from the beginning and get
let's
there?
pull back. Let's pull back to the beginning. So
Okay.
we pick up pretty much straight after the Batman. Straight away, Gotham's kind of still in recovery of the flooding. And before anyone asks, there is no mention of the Batman at all through the series, is there? I didn't hear one person say Vengeance or the guy that was in the tunnels with who saved all those people. There's no mention.
I mean, they don't really mention the Riddler.
They may have mentioned the Riddler.
I mean, I guess like obviously the end, there's like a reference to Batman.
Mm. Yes, but that's what I mean. It's like there's no mention about Vengeance.
Yeah, I'll admit that. Like, I don't think he needed to be in the show, but yeah, that's. I mean, it's more of a nitpick thing, but it is like maybe a little weird that somehow that they didn't even mention Batman once.
No, and not to mention the Penguin knows Batman. Sorry, knows Vengeance, if you will.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's. Yeah, you'd think that like might come up when there's like, you know, you're dealing with this whole criminal underworld, and they know that there's this guy dressed as a bat, like cracking down on criminals.
No, yeah, that's right. No one mentions it, even with all the crime, everything going on. Oh, it's like no one even says, "I'm not going out at night." Are you crazy?
Yeah, something like if I was to say anything was wrong with the show, or like not that I would really like detract it from like my feelings on the show overall or my score or anything, but like if there was like one thing they could have done better, it would have been like that. Because then it's not even like a fan servicey thing. It's just like it just makes sense.
Yeah, because he's been doing it from because the Batman is basically Batman Year One, isn't it?
I think I heard it's year 2, but like yeah,
Year 2. So he's well diverse in Gotham. There is a guy dressed as a bat beating up criminals at night.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's a little odd. Yeah, I can buy that he wouldn't show up because maybe he's busy with other things. Because there's just like I feel like, and if Matt Reeves has mentioned how like in the Batman Part 2, like he's like kind of struggling to be Batman because like since like the Riddler like blew everything up, the like crime has just gotten so much worse even.
Well, that's right, because
so he's like spread too thin, I think. So it makes sense he's not showing up in this, maybe.
Well, that's right. That makes sense why he hasn't showed up, because there's a lot of things that do happen in this show. You're like, but to me, I was like, oh, I feel like he would pop up here. Oh, he would definitely be here if.
Well, I guess, but I guess we're thinking of it like, yeah, this isn't the MCU though, where there's like, I mean, I guess this is, you know, this is so much more of like a grounded thing where it's like, okay, Gotham is like a big place, right? And he's maybe, you know, he's got other, we'll probably see a bit in the Batman Part 2, maybe even, it would be nice if some of it like maybe supposedly is like kind of happening like overlapping the Penguin series, like to begin with, maybe.
Well, that would be good. Like, for example, like
maybe they could like resolve it on that end. They could mention stuff what's been going on with Oswald. Then he's like kind of like, you know, busy, and then finally it's like when like, I mean, do we know how long it like the Penguin show takes place over? Is it like 2 weeks or so, maybe?
It's something like 2 weeks. Obviously we know it picks up straight after the Batman.
Yeah, so I feel like in a way it makes sense, like if there's all this other stuff going on, then maybe it's not until the end when we see the signal go up, that's when he's finally being called to like deal with what's been going on with the Penguin and all that, right?
Yeah, well, it's a while too in the wild 2 weeks that this all happens. Penguin becomes in power because he didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of like that feels very true to like kind of the nature of the more grounded kind of world of like Batman and stuff, or even like in the Dark Knight, like first thing, like part of the reason the stuff escalates as much as it does with the Joker is because at first like Batman's like, oh, one man or the entire mob, like he can wait, like he literally
Yeah,
says that, right?
he does.
Because he
Yeah,
doesn't like take the Joker as seriously as the whole mob at first, but
no,
he doesn't realize that one
and
man
look what happens.
can be just as bad or worse than the whole mob. And I feel like Penguin's similar in that way.
Yeah, I yeah, I can see. Yeah, and right now, saving people with everything going on in the main city would be his priority and trying to get everything back to order. Which is one of the things that I did love about the show, which was a bit sad, was that it was very interesting to see the victor's point of view of the flooding and see how that affected everybody else in the town. Because, like, in the Batman, we saw the flooding, we saw the chaos, we saw we saw it in the stadium, but we didn't really get to see what happened like on the outside and what happened just to the casual people that had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like they're using like kind of that whole like event at the end of the Batman. It's almost like one of those big events in the MCU, like the Battle of New York. Obviously, it's like in a way on a smaller scale, but it's sort of like, you know what I mean? It's like now we're gonna get all these spin-offs where it's like, oh, and this is what this person was doing at that time and that person. But like I feel like this is like a better version of that where it's not gonna be like 50,000 spin-offs and some of them that people like aren't even asking for. Like I think we're
No,
gonna
I
get
can
a couple solid, fantastic spin-offs that'll
yeah,
actually be like all worthwhile.
it makes sense. Not like an Order 66, where now we have
Yeah, exactly. And
twenty
that's I
different
think
versions of the same event.
yeah, like yeah, no, I think that's what think is cool about what Matt Reeves is doing, and I think the Penguin has made that more kind of clear to me than
Mm.
just the movie did. Because at first I was like, obviously, I have nothing but good things to say about the Batman, but at the same time, when I first saw it, I sort of was like, I think maybe I was a little bit surprised at first. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's another like grounded take, but like, didn't
Mm.
Nolan kind of already like kind of nail that? It's like,
Kind of do with that already. Yeah.
and we haven't like had like a really like great take on Batman necessarily, like that's just a Batman kind of focused thing where it has been more fantastical, not really on the big screen still. So when I
No.
first saw the Batman, I was like, huh, is that a missed opportunity? Because so much of it, like, even though it's very grounded, it does have a more comic booky look to it.
Oh,
But at the end of the day, though, it's just as maybe even more grounded than the Nolan movies
well,
in a lot
that's
of
how I
ways.
see it. I see that the Batman universe is a lot more grounded. I feel like it's probably not the way I'm looking at it another way. The Dark Knight trilogy, very grounded in today's society. The Batman I find is a more Arkham Knight, Arkham City type of vibe. More
I mean,
comic.
it's very different than that though too. I mean, like I know what you mean, but also like, but that again, that's all like very fantastical kind of. Whereas this is like, I don't know. I mean, I think they're both grounded in different ways, both this and the Nolan ones. But what I was getting to though, I guess, is the fact that the Penguin is like, oh, okay, now I get why it's like aside from the movie being great regardless, but now I'm like, okay, I kind of get what's gonna be like the big difference with his whole vision.
Hmm.
Aside from okay, maybe it's a little more comic booky looking or whatever, it's like it's gonna be different from the Nolan ones because and one thing that's like a strength for the Nolan ones, I think it's like so economic, how it's like a just kind of perfect like distillation of Batman's whole career, like right from the beginning to the end.
Pretty much.
But it's not one where they're like building a whole universe around it. Whereas this one, it's grounded, but also we're getting to like we're getting like a whole universe, like with some of these shows, like and really getting the different perspectives outside of Batman's.
We are.
That's I think cool, because that's not something I think Nolan would want to do, nor that I think needed to do. I think those movies, I like how they're just 3 movies and that's it. But it's this is I'm just saying the Penguin is like making me realize like, okay, there is something different here. That being said, I still get a little bit annoyed every time. I don't know if I mentioned this before on this podcast, but even though I think Matt Reeves, everything he's doing is amazing, but whenever they talk about it, or even the people working on this show, they always like whenever they talk about how they want to make it like, oh, what's the grounded take? It's like, I just feel like the way they're saying it, they're acting like Christopher Nolan didn't do a grounded take already. I'm like, it's like, okay, that's fine if you're going for that, but just like
acknowledge it.
I don't know, the way they talk about it, it's like they're like the absolute first ones ever doing it with Batman, and I'm like,
not the first
you know
one.
what
No.
I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like this. It's like, oh, we're really making it grand. I'm like, yeah, well, the Dark Knight trilogy, like, you got to remember that we're not comparing this to Batman and Robin. There's a whole bloody trilogy in the middle that made it more grounded.
I feel like when they're talking about the history of other Batman things, they just sort of like skip over the Nolan ones. Whenever they're talking about any of the Matt Reeves stuff, they're just like, oh yeah, the Michael Keaton ones, it was good at the time, and I love that version of it, but now this is like the grounded take. And I'm like,
you're missing something in between, mate.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, this definitely like what I say probably feels like very Sopranos-ish.
Big time. Yeah.
For this show, and you can tell that this is a big inspiration of like just seeing Oswald be from a foot guy. Well, actually, no, I feel bad for him because he did have the club. He did have semi-power. Then the club disappeared. The club obviously is in bloody ruins. And he's basically going back to be a footman. And now it's his whole mission to become the Penguin, which we know from the comics.
Yeah, no, I mean, it helps with the whole like Sopranos vibe too. The fact that it's literally like an HBO show also, but
yes.
Yeah, no, I feel like after watching this, I'm like, okay, this is sort of like what I've always wanted them to do with like Batman universe in a way. I'm like, it fits so perfectly to do like this kind of grounded, gritty Gotham story on like HBO's kind of style of storytelling. And specifically with the Penguin, it fits that they're doing like basically the Sopranos, but in Gotham. Although I think it's interesting, like, do you think the Penguin's like supposed to just straight up be Italian or whatever in Matt Reeves' universe? Because I don't think he ever has been in any other things. But I'm like, and I'm fine with that. I kind of love it. I think it's pretty funny.
I think it fits for the Matt Reeves universe. It fits him being like that.
Because even they changed his name. Like, isn't it just Oz Cobb?
Yeah,
not Cobblepot, is it?
No, it's. Yes, it's Oswald Cobb.
Yeah, so I feel like not that sounds Italian per se, but maybe it sounds less distinctly not Italian than Cobblepot.
Oh well, actually, here it says it right here in the notes for the show. For the series, the character's surname is shortened to Cobb from Cobblepot, which is used in the comics because the production team found it to be more grounded than the real name.
Again with the grounded thing, which I mean, but yeah, I feel like because the Penguin's always been like kind of like, I don't know,
Cobblepot.
Like British. Is that's supposed to be like a British kind of name?
Well, yes. Well, that's what the thing is. Maybe a rich, pompous. I don't think it was weapons and villains. I'm trying to find his background about it. yeah, that's he's meant to be kind of a rich. Well, not.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. I guess in this, he's not there. You know, that's part of the whole story that he's like has to climb his way up. Whereas usually the Penguins from like the Cobblepots are like a rich family, sort of like
Yeah,
the Waynes.
that's it, because that's the connection. That's the big. That's big. The connection between Batman's villains is that we always do see that, with each of Batman's villains, it's always a reflection of one dark side of Batman, of what he could become. And the Penguin's reflection of Batman is what happens if he turned into a rich asshole, essentially.
Yeah, I guess so. If he used his power the wrong way.
Yeah. And there is, I think, there's multiple comics where the Penguin and Bruce Wayne's family intertwine.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a couple, or even like the Telltale game did a lot with that too.
Well, that as well. And I think, even though they have done a slight change for the Penguin, I think it does fit this universe that they are making with Matt Reeves. Not once. That's the thing is, like, not once do I look at this and go, oh, they changed the character. They've done it differently. This is not the true form of the character. I'm like, no, this fits the universe. This fits Oswald Cobb. And, they still call him the Penguin, which I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't take that out of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is like, I think to me, this is like even before the show, but especially after the show, I was already after the Batman. I was like, okay, this is like my favorite version of the Penguin.
He's
in like any medium.
No. And I'm always fond of the Penguin from the Arkham trilogy.
I mean, it's a more like classic version, but I mean, he's the right Penguin for those games. But I mean, if I had to pick a favorite, I gotta go with Colin Farrell.
Yes, well, of course. No, I know he did. He's done a fantastic job. Again, he was a standout for all these episodes. His performance, again, every time I look at him, I'm like, I can't believe that's Colin under all that makeup, and his accent playing the Penguin, and Sophia. Holy shit, she was more of a villain than the Penguin.
Was she? I don't know. By the end, I don't know if I'd agree with that.
She murdered her entire family and gassed them.
Yeah, but like I feel like
Penguin. I guess Penguin did kill two of his brothers and drown them.
I feel like look, they're both villains, right? I mean, in terms of like the show, I guess since it's the Penguin, and he's technically, obviously he's a villain, but he's like the protagonist. So in like regards to the show, yes, she is like more of an antagonist in the plot, I guess. But like if we're just talking like actually like morally, obviously they're both twisted, but like I think with her she actually has like some kind of justification you can sort of understand for what she's doing. And Oswald doesn't really. So I think he's worse still.
Yeah, okay. You can say that he is indeed worse, because what she's doing,
like she's taking, I guess, we're just kind of, are we going to get into her kind of story now? Or
yeah, if you want to.
I'm just saying, like, because of like, episode 4, like the image there, which is definitely probably like one of the most standout episodes. Showing all in Arkham and stuff. It's really cool how it just like reframes the show and everything. Because when it first starts, you think, oh, okay, wow, she's a psycho. She's just like willing to like pop off anyone to like make a point. But then you see, okay, she was like kind of a normal person, and then she like took the fall for everything that
her dad did.
Yeah, and then I liked how it tied back to the Batman with, like, we knew that he was like had a penchant for like strangling women from that movie, and then it's like, oh, okay, so that was actually what happened, and the hangman thing was like a cover up, so they weren't actually hanged; they were all strangled, and not by her. But So it was like, okay, that kind of paid that off further. And yeah, and it's just so messed up, obviously, what happened to her. And he like just pretty much sent her there hoping she'd probably get like killed in the prison, and that it could just like kind of be all swept under the rug. I mean, it's Carmine Falcone. I guess that's sort of how he deals with everything.
That's the
But
character.
it's just more messed up because it's like his own daughter.
Yep.
And it's for the murder. Well, one of the murders is like her mother.
Yeah, that scene.
And then it's even crazier too
her.
because like so both his daughters that we've seen, obviously, like I know it's not till the last episode they like acknowledge it, but like I was thinking about it before that. Obviously, Selena Kyle is also his daughter in this universe. Yeah, both her mother and Sophia's mother died by strangulation from him. So like,
yep. And they've both turned into the monster. Well, they've both turned into not monsters, but they've turned into the people they are now because of her dad.
Yeah. Obviously, like Selena looks pretty good compared to Sophia, but
especially in the photo I'm showing right now.
Yeah.
And I think Kristen, she's done a fantastic job as playing Sophia through the whole series. I know a lot of people do praise her performance, and I think she did great.
I mean, both her and Colin Farrell probably got at least Emmy nominations, if not wins, coming their way.
Oh, 100%. This show, if my expectations were mid, I will admit, probably mid at the level, even after watching the first trailer, completely blew all my expectations away by how the show was structured, and the performance we got. Like, this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, I think it did surpass my expectations, but honestly, I always had pretty high expectations for this because it's coming off the Matt Reeves universe and it's HBO.
But how many times have we seen a spin-off come off from a show from a movie and it hasn't been great?
From like, I don't know, but like there hasn't been many though on the DC side, like spinning off from the movies.
Oh, no.
Right? And like there's really been like this and Peacemaker basically.
Peacemaker was good.
And Peacemaker was good. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, so I don't know, this is a very different thing again, but I'm like, I don't know. I did have, I mean, again, maybe I'm biased, but I'm like,
he is, ladies and gentlemen, he is.
DC does have, I think, already a much better track record with spinning off their movies to shows than Marvel ever has done.
That's because the fact that there's like 12 for Marvel and there's only 2 for DC.
Yeah, but like, have any of them, even like the best ones, been as good as the Penguin?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say
I'm going to disagree with you there, but
I would I would track up there like WandaVision and Loki and Moon Knight.
Moon Knight is not like half as good as the Penguin.
Okay, all right, I'll take Moon Knight. But
I'm not saying they're not good, like especially WandaVision and Loki, but WandaVision is probably my favorite one. Maybe that's the one I'd say is closest, but like it's still like not at all like Penguin level. Like just story wise, like no, come on. Like if we're just being real.
She-Hulk by far. She-Hulk by far.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the Batman. No, I'm like, I like a lot of their ones, but like the Penguin's like a perfect show. I don't think any of the Marvel shows are like perfect. Right? It's true.
WandaVision was perfect. I don't care. WandaVision was perfect.
I don't think it was there was a few issues. Like Ralph Boner. Come on.
that's the one you take from that. I can understand. No, look.
I'm just saying the Penguin had no Ralph Boners. Did it? No. Everything about the Penguin was just like chef's kiss.
No, they did not have any Ralph Boners. No, they didn't. As if we're not comparing it to Marvel, this is one of the best TV shows to hit television this year, by far.
But why are we not? What do you mean not comparing to Marvel? Or you just mean in general?
I just mean in general, like off the bat, it's one of the best shows. But if we are comparing it to Marvel, I'd say it is slightly better than WandaVision, but I'd put WandaVision as a comparison.
Oh, okay. I mean, like it's WandaVision or Loki, or like to me, WandaVision and Loki are the only two that are really like where I'm like, okay, that was solid MCU. Everything else on Disney Plus, I'm like, and there's a range still, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, but comparing to Marvel, that's probably the other show I put it to.
But even just like in terms of like, this is like a real HBO show, you know?
Yes, like as we said, very Sopranos-y.
It's got much more in common with The Sopranos, or hell, even like Game of Thrones. Like, also even like that was the thing with a lot of the Disney Plus shows. Some of them, I love WandaVision, but like a lot of episodes are very like short. You know, it's not really the same kind of thing.
No, and that's the thing is this show. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, just as I was just ranting on about it. Is I didn't feel the lull. You know how when you watch a show that's like 8 episodes, you're like, oh.
Oh yeah, no, the show just like never lets up. That's what I'm saying. I'm like this. Just objectively, this is on another level than anything Marvel's put to TV. That's all.
Every episode has a punch to it, and it doesn't feel like a filler episode.
I mean, that's partly, yeah. I mean, I think HBO's pretty good at almost never doing filler much. I mean, that's maybe a very blanket statement. I know it's different people working on the different shows, but yeah, I mean, there's usually like a lot of meat to every episode of any of the great HBO shows.
No, there is, and that's clearly on display in this one as well. The whole team behind this show did such a good job, and the other standout from Sophia to me was Victor.
Well, yeah, I mean they're kind of like the three like pillars of the show, right? So
Victor did. I love that Victor gave us that point of that perspective. Sorry, of like as we said earlier, just like being a Gotham Knight and the flooding.
Did you say being a Gotham Knight?
Yeah, it's a Gotham Knight, isn't it? That's Gotham.
What do you mean?
Like that's what are Gotham citizens called?
They're called Gotham Knights?
I thought they were called Gotham Knights.
Okay, I mean...
All right, guys, fuck, I go going.
Everybody gets to be a knight in Gotham.
I'm sure I'm sure.
Oh, you mean Gotham? Did you say Gothamite?
Yeah, Gotham Knight. Like, you know how you say New Yorkers and like Gotham Knights.
I think you mean Gothamite.
Maybe Gotham Knight?
Yeah. I like not like Gotham
sorry,
Knight.
Yeah, Gothamite. Sorry, Gothamite. Yeah, sorry, I was wrong. Gothamite.
I was hearing like I was
saying Gotham Knight. Gothamite.
I think of like I don't know, like the video game, like Batman Sidekicks or.
Oh my god! No. Sorry, Gothamite. Being a Gothamite, and his perspective and seeing everything going on, it's the absolute mess from the flooding.
Yeah, no, that was I think just like a very like necessary kind of look at kind of the impact that had on like just the people kind of more like on the ground level. And
who got the raw end of the stick?
Yeah, the raw end of the question mark.
Pretty much.
But
nothing to hold your breath against.
Yeah, so he was like out with his friends, and then that's why he survived, though, right? I think.
Well, that's it. He was stealing. He was doing a rim job on the Penguin. I mean.
Oh no! That happened after, didn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah. Sorry. He was out with his friends, and because they were on a tall building, that's when they saw everything happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy just seeing like yeah, like a city just like go underwater like that. Um yeah, I guess in Batman Part 2, I'm assuming things are still gonna be kind of underwater and stuff.
Well, from what Matt Reeves has mentioned, that yes, the city is still very much a mess. So, from everything going on, and between the Penguin, from the Penguin ending, we still have another year and a half before we get the Batman 2, which just recently they've also talked about doing a Joker TV show to bridge the gap between Batman 2 and Batman 3.
But didn't James Gunn debunk that, right?
Oh, did he?
I think so, yeah. Unfortunately, I was kind of interested in that.
Oh, hang on, let me check it. Joker, James Gunn debunk. Oh no, actually you're right. Yeah, he debunks there was no plans for a Joker. Urge fans not to attack the multiverse nation reporting this rumor and revealed discussions about a Joker show had been taken, but nothing concrete.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that's not happening. But
I mean, something like that could happen. You're just saying that
well,
it
there was
hasn't been like actually greenlit or anything.
there was also the Arkham TV show that was also meant to happen.
Which again, I thought when they said the Joker thing, I'm like, oh, okay, because Matt Reeves said that's not necessarily dead. The Arkham thing, it's just sort of they're not sure maybe what they want to do with it per se, or what it could evolve into. So I thought, oh, okay, maybe now it's a Joker show, because I assumed an Arkham show would maybe mostly be focused on the Joker, since we know he's in Arkham.
Yeah, I agree. That could be both the same thing.
And we talked about like we were like messaging each other, right? About like I feel like what I think would be perfect is if they just like, since they've talked about, I've heard even already like casting rumors about like Harley Quinn for the Matt Reeves universe, and I don't know, it just kind of makes sense, especially if they're setting the Joker up for the third movie. I'm assuming it'd be nice to finally get Joker and Harley Quinn actually together as like villains in a live action movie.
That would be cool.
And it would be cool if they're actually like set up, like, not that you need an origin for the Joker, but like Harley Quinn should probably have some kind of origin, and it would be cool to like have that actually play out in live action in movies, like where he like kind of like, turns her into Harley Quinn while she's like his therapist or whatever in Arkham.
Yeah, not like, don't get me wrong, like
that'd be perfect for like a whole like Joker show or Arkham show, like mostly focused on that. And then
that's what we're saying is that if it works out to be like Arkham Files, like her report, each episode is her report or something like that about him.
Yeah, and I mean you could like, if you wanted to, put some other villains in there.
You could stack it, but the thing is you could stack it, but who would be in there? Because there's speaking of the villains, is that we got Scarecrow.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I didn't know if you heard that. I just saw that today.
The doctor that you can see on his table, which I didn't notice, is basically.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't. I just saw that literally today.
Yeah. See Scarecrow's glove or a semi-glove and semi-mask on his desk.
Yeah, and wasn't it sort of, the glove was kind of like a Arkham game look?
Yes, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I guess I guess that could be that he, like, if he's a doctor there, could be that if Scarecrow's already in Arkham, then they could just have taken his stuff.
He's taken it from, true.
Well, because I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna like make this guy the Scarecrow now. It sounds like maybe that was the plan at one point. Maybe, I'm not sure, or why they would decide to leave the stuff there. But because like, I don't think they're gonna just like change the Scarecrow into like not being Jonathan Crane suddenly.
No, they need to change.
Because like, I mean, Yeah, I don't think they would do that or why they would do that. This
I
guy
don't-
probably he had a vibe. He could have probably been maybe the Scarecrow, but I don't know. The fact that he's, got a totally different name, I don't really know what they're doing with him.
No, well, I can't imagine. I do not expect to see him in the Batman 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Sophia, they've said probably is going to be in it, right?
Yes, and Colin has mentioned the Penguins in about 5 to 6 scenes in the Batman 2, and he has signed on for the Batman 3.
Yeah, no, I mean the Penguin. I'm like, yeah, no, I kind of just assumed for sure Colin Farrell would be back in the other ones.
Oh no, I mean like the fact that he's signed on from Batman 3.
Yeah,
More
so I guess. What do you think? Like his role will kind of be like it doesn't seem like they're ever gonna have him as like the main villain per se.
No, I think coming into Batman 2, which
I
we
feel like they
obviously
almost like could though with the way that what they did with the show. Like he could be like the Batman 2's villain, since they kind of like haven't really still clearly like said who the villain is in that one. There's been a lot of rumors.
there's been a lot of rumors. Mr. Freeze has been one, but we do know that the Joker is not going to be the villain. He's going to be in the background for this one.
Yeah,
More
and
leads to be
that's another reason why it's like again we talked about, but I'm like just it'd be so perfect if they just did that between 2 and 3, did that Joker
the best
Harley
show.
kind of story in a show or something, and then by the
And
end of
then
it, she's actually like fully Harley Quinn, and then they're both
Yeah.
set up to be the villains of like the final movie.
And then Batman 3, you can just go. You don't need any of the backs. Like you don't need to do the. You can just go straight into it. You don't need to spend half the movie of them becoming Joker and the Harley Quinn. They're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm still like a little like unsure. I hope Barry Keoghan kills it as the Joker, because I was like didn't dislike him, but I'm just like from the little bit we've got, I'm like I don't know, something to me just felt a little bit off more than any other thing in the first movie. Nothing else felt to me off like the way that did. I'm like I'm still getting a bit of that like feels like they're I don't know. It's just so many of the Jokers post Heath Ledger just feel like they're still trying to copy that somehow to me. I don't know.
Well, it's funny you say that because I did see a interview thing about Matt Reeves that they really want to do something different with the Joker. They want to do something different with him, do something different compared to what's come before. And he's saying like that is the bar that we're looking at for Barry Keoghan's Joker, and like how do we do something different that hasn't come before, but the fans will like.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm like, I mean, I have faith in them doing a good job, anyways. But I still feel like, I mean, well, of course that's what they're gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that was like their attitude when they were making the first Suicide Squad with Jared Leto. But no, I'm not like saying that this is going to be anything like that. But I just mean like, well, of course, that's the bar.
Yeah, that's the mission. That's the mission
Like,
at hand.
I think the one time they really did something different with Joker post Heath Ledger was Joaquin Phoenix. Now everybody doesn't like that anymore.
Oh no, it's because of Joker 2. Everyone liked it because the Joker 1. That was good. But it's because Joker 2, everyone's like, oh, which really was Joker 2, Joker for 10 minutes in an hour and a half movie.
It's almost 2.5 hour movie.
Or 2.5 hour movie, and we only get the Joker for about 10 minutes.
Okay, it's not about the
It's not about what?
Quantity. It's about the quality.
Well, if you want to know quality, go back and listen to our episode about quality. But no, I think you are right. They're going to do something different. I think Barry Keoghan will do a great job. And look, he's going to be tied up with the Joker. He's definitely not going to be tied up with the internals at the moment at all. So I don't think he has to worry about that.
Yeah, I know. I like the sort of really creepy look they're going for with him, but also like sort of like when I heard the backstory again, I'm like, huh. Like he literally looks like, even if you're doing like a grounded version, like he looks like this could be a Joker that like either like fell into some acid or had some kind of acid
On his
related
face.
accident just because of how messed up he looked.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah, he
then,
looks rough
but
as
Matt
gut.
Reeves has already said, he already like kind of revealed what the Joker's like, why he looks like that. He said it's like some kind of disease. Like he has like elephantitis or something.
Yeah. Which again works perfectly. Works perfectly fine.
I guess, but I'm just like, oh, I don't know. There's a few things with the Matt Reeves stuff where I'm like, oh, that feels like a missed opportunity. But I mean, I'm starting to like ease up on that after seeing the Penguin because I'm like, oh, okay, I get how this is going to be different.
I know. Yeah, I can see what you're trying to do.
I almost
Now.
feel like the Penguin at this point maybe should be like, if not the main villain, like equally the main villain with someone else.
Well, that's the thing. He is going to be the villain now. He is the mob king. He is the mobster. He controls it now.
Because I feel like everyone just wants to see, like, we'll get to it, but like, yeah, okay, well, we'll get back to that.
Get back to what?
Oh, just like about him being, we'll save it for when we get to other things in the Penguin.
Ah, okay. Well, the next thing I was going to say was Penguin's mum. I did like all that kind of backstory and how like obsessive he was, how he wanted all her attention, how she, she's mentally ill, and the freaky thing is that he just keeps her in a window, looking out the window in his penthouse.
Yeah, at the very end. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the mom's like the only person he has any kind of real loyalty to. That's kind of the whole like driving message of the show. By the end, you realize it's like, okay, like, I don't know, it's still like debatable, like if he even like fully cares about her as much as we think, because like he was gonna like still not admit what he did before.
Well, that's
like,
right.
He was gonna like let them cut her finger off basically, rather than admit what he did.
Yeah, he didn't.
But at the same time, though, he has like, I think he still, even if he doesn't think so, I think he like cares more about himself even than his mom. But I think he thinks he cares about his mom as much or more, if that makes sense.
Well, more and well,
I think he believes that his mom is like everything to him, but like, I don't know, he's messed up. But
well, to add on to how messed up it is, as well as I forgot her name, he got his girlfriend
Eve, I think.
Eve. He got Eve to dress up as his mum instead of he's a good boy.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
it was Eve.
Yeah, major mommy complex with the Penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what the whole show's about.
Yeah, I was
like him wanting to like get his mother's approval.
Yeah.
And then the messed up thing is, and he like how like set he is on that. He doesn't even like, he can't even see like the flaw in that when he like, she even tells him at the end when she kind of reveals that she's known all along what he did, like killing his brothers, just to have heard all to himself basically. Even when she like kind of reveals like she's actually hated him this whole time.
Yep.
Even then, he's just like, I almost think he like sort of just doesn't even accept that.
No, he's still.
And just by the end, he's just like, he's still seeking her approval, even when she literally can't give it anymore, to the point that he has to like have Eve role play it with him.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is, Eve does tell Sophia, her and Oswald have a special relationship. So has she been dressing up like the mum different times beforehand?
I think that's fair to assume. Because that's like her profession, right? Like playing into her clients' fantasies.
Oh yeah, well yes.
And in this case, it's his mom.
Yeah, it's the weird mom complex was not something I was expecting to come into with the show, but makes sense why he's so messed up.
I mean, the Penguin, his mom is a kind of factor in his story and a lot of. I don't know. I remember like I don't know. Not that it was obviously far from grounded take, but like I remember in Gotham, because I have watched all of Gotham. Penguin does have a bit of like a weird thing with his mom in that too.
And his dad, doesn't he? Because his dad's
His dad.
isn't his dad?
Oh yeah, his dad does come into the picture at some point.
Yeah.
But his mom, no, but his mom's like with him all the time. He's like living with his mom and that too, and he's always. I don't know, the Penguin's like always trying to take care of his mom. I don't think that's like a new thing for this show. The show just made it a lot more grounded and compelling.
And a bit more weird.
Well, that's part of it being grounded, I think, though.
Yeah, exactly. Is it, besides them not really mentioning the Batman, was there any other aspect of the show that you just didn't vibe with, or like you thought, oh, they could have done that better?
Not really. No, I think it was overall. Like, I think the show was basically pitch perfect. I think I said in my review on Serialized that it's like, honestly, like it's not just comic book wise. It's like just one of like kind of the most like flawless things I've seen in entertainment. Probably.
Oh, and WandaVision.
No. I love WandaVision. That's like I mean, that's how I started my YouTube channel, doing like reviews of that each week. But no, but like no, that has, and I'm not saying I dislike it because it has issues. I think I expect most things to have some issues. I'm saying the Penguin is like one of those rare things that basically doesn't really have any legitimate issues that I can think of. It's a pretty like pitch perfect thing from beginning to end.
I agree with you. There's nothing. All the acting was good. The action was dark and gritty, and there was no filler episodes. And it was set in the universe, and it worked well within the universe. I agree with you. Like as we're talking at the very beginning of this review, is that I just kind of wish someone mentioned more about the Batman.
Yeah, I did hear one person mention that they thought like it didn't even feel like it was quite the same universe as the movie. I disagree with that pretty much completely, but I think only because they didn't mention Batman is the only reason I could really feel that. But like I think the point of like doing this more grounded kind of, I know I'm just using that word a lot too, but like with it being this whole, hey Dan, whole like grounded world and stuff, I think it just makes sense that in the real world, like in a big city, there's a lot going on, and there's all different like sections of it, and it's not everything's gonna like cross over constantly.
No,
unless it really makes sense for it to. And this is like when you think about this show, a lot of it, I mean, towards the end it escalates more, but I mean, it kind of makes sense maybe before like the bat signal going off at the end probably a lot of that's because of how out of control it's gotten by that point. And like with like right at the start of the last episode, Sophia like blowing up all of like Crown Point and stuff. That's probably okay. Now reports are coming out, and like Commissioner Gordon's getting word of all this now. Finally, over the course of that last episode, now he's putting on the bat signal.
Yeah,
whereas before that, a lot of the other stuff is, when you think about it, right? A lot of the stuff happening before that is all this stuff that's kind of like, it's the stuff that's really is kind of going on behind closed doors, like kind of underground crime stuff that's kind of constantly happening. Obviously, Batman's not going to know about every little thing.
No, and that makes sense. I think that probably one of the most common gripes I have seen online is because that street blows up and there's no Batman.
Well, but I mean, he's like he can't just like teleport there instantly.
What are you talking about?
He's the Batman. Yeah, they're acting like he's Superman. Like he's gonna hear it from like all the way over here, and then he's gonna just like zoom there. But
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
have
no,
seen his
he's gonna
car.
like if he's not in that part of the city, if he's busy somewhere else doing other stuff, then he's gonna hear about it probably from like I don't know, maybe on the news or hopefully before that from like Commissioner Gordon or something.
Mm.
And
No,
then
no,
he'll like
you're ruining the Batman facade. He can hear everything. He can get to everything.
yeah, but he takes no that's part of that's why I love Batman because he's
Yeah.
human. And like that's what makes like his heroics I think all the more like compelling because it's like that much harder probably for him because he's just a guy in a suit trying to create the Batman facade that you're talking about, but all in reality he's like Matt Reeves said in the second one especially, he's going to be struggling. And I think we're just seeing him not showing up here. You could chalk that up to already that like kind of maybe the Batman 2's maybe already started taking place by the time this has happened, right? And he's
Well,
already struggling, right?
that's
Just to like deal with everything. And
well, that's very true. Like we don't know how much time is going to pass between now and Batman 2, or this is gonna Batman 2 is going to kick off and start at the same time as this.
I feel like there's a good chance it kind of starts, like I said, like kind of happening simultaneously with some of the show. Because this movie or this show kind of like the very beginning is sort of happening like kind of in congruity with maybe the ending bit of the Batman, right?
Oh, it is. It starts off pretty much straight after because he goes up to.
Yeah, I mean, it has that
so,
shot from the Batman of him standing in the window.
Yeah, after his nightclub is ruined and in pieces.
Yeah, so much like how there's a bit of overlap in that first episode with the end of the Batman, I could see the last episode of this having some overlap with the beginning of the Batman part two.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. I did like also that at the ending that we're talking about is that we got kind of his comic book accurate suit as well when he's looking in the mirror. Oh, that was like I was like, okay, that's
yeah. I was wondering if they'd get the. So he actually had the top hat. He didn't put it on, but
no, he had it though.
Yeah, I'm like, it's weird that I can't quite like picture him actually with it on though. Do you think he's gonna actually have it on in the Batman part 2? That seems like what they're teasing.
I reckon he will, but like for like a couple, him walking into a room and then someone collecting it.
Maybe, yeah.
Like he won't. It won't be like a full like him 10 minutes or him talking to somebody. It'll be like him walking up to a party or into a nightclub, and he'll be standing there with the cane, looking around, and then someone will come and collect it.
What about like? I think he'll ever get like the monocle.
No, I like the Arkhamverse where it's it's like a broken bottle. Yeah,
like actually jammed into
his eye.
That would if they were gonna do anything like that, that would be the version that would kind of fit this universe maybe a little more. I don't know. I don't think they'll do that, but
I don't think they'll do it. I don't think
Colin Farrell's already had enough with the prosthetics. He's probably not going to want to happen. I heard he like really was not happy by the end of making the show.
Well, that's the difference is you get how much more scenes he's filmed for this compared to what he filmed for the Batman.
Yeah, that and also like I think he also just between like because he couldn't like because it was such a dark character and a dark story and what he does in this show, as we'll get to, like he goes to much darker places in this than he did in the Batman.
He does,
and that's like in the Batman, he's almost like kind of like a comic relief character in a sense, like given how dark and serious that movie is.
Yeah, I guess that's a way, especially the interrogation scene with him and Commissioner Jim Gordon.
Yeah, but whereas in this, you're like, I'm like, oh god, no, he's horrible.
Yeah.
Like but yeah, I think maybe he was just in like a very dark place, and I think the fact that he couldn't, by having the prosthetics on, he couldn't even like when he wasn't filming like for the day, he just felt like he was literally stuck in Oz's skin, and he couldn't escape that darkness all the time.
Well, no, because it'd be long days of shooting, and for what it is. And and you're right. So he
So like when he
Yeah,
looks in the mirror, that's what he sees,
straight away. Well, he kills his brothers. He sets Falcone's
Oh, the Maroni's.
Maroni's mother and son lit and smiles.
Yeah, what did you think about that? Was probably like one of the most, I don't know, that part felt like it was like not really necessary for him to do that in any way, right? Or other than like he just kind of felt like
I knew he was going to kill him, but that's not. I didn't think that's how he was going to kill him.
sorry. Yeah, no, I think
you drinking while on the pod.
just gotta stay lubricated.
Yeah.
to talk as much as I like to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, what's it called? But like he got what he wanted from them, right? And then I guess maybe he just thought, okay, they're gonna come back to screw him over, even if they like kind of part ways now peacefully. So he's like, oh, might as well just kill them.
Yeah, no, and I think it was very dark of when he was telling what's name. He's like, yeah, your wife had a great smell of burnt. Is that something new? And I was like, oh my god.
It was such a like badass, like twisted but badass way that he did that though, with like that was like some twisted, like, I don't know, that not that they would have those exact kind of materials or things to do it with then as much, or I mean they might have had the equivalent, but like it reminded me of like some of the really twisted villains in like Game of Thrones, like something they would do or something. Like the kind of games they would play with, like the reason why he obviously the son is like got his mouth like duct taped and everything so that he can't say that he's like covered in gasoline.
So twisted.
And then I guess just by walking over, he's leaving the trail.
Yeah.
But the crazier thing to me is like, I don't know, I'm just thinking of the logistics of it though, because obviously it's just one of those things you go with, but I'm like, just like, that's a little risky though. I'm like, wasn't he like right around Oz and everything too? And isn't there like a car there? And it's like, wouldn't the fire possibly go back Oz's way too?
Well, exactly. Yes, it would have.
No, I know. I'm not actually like complaining about that. I'm just having fun with like.
Oh no.
Yeah, but that's just one of those like movie things.
Yeah, but no, but you're right. It would have come back.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Oz was just very careful with. I don't know.
Burying him alive. Did you find what's name's heart attack anticlimactic?
I think at first, but no, the more I've thought about it, maybe it's because I've been listening to the podcast too. There's like the official podcast they put out where like the writers kind of like talk about it all and everything too each week. But the way they talked about it, like it made sense to me, the fact that like both him and Oz are like not, this is sort of what the writer was saying, the main writer of the show. I think Lauren LaFranc's her name, but I think they're both like they're not generally the kind of guys that would be doing the fighting and the dirty work. No. But because of like what's gone on, they just like, well, especially Maroni, who's like even older and kind of probably not well. And I think apparently I didn't catch it, but apparently they do drop something in like episode 5 of him like taking some medication or something.
Oh,
maybe he had like a heart condition already.
Oh, poor Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, and then like the stress of like obviously like losing his like wife and kid like that so horrifically, and then Sophia like kind of forcing him to not kill the guy when he has him right there who did that.
Yeah,
and then Oswald like
gets away,
knowing that he can use that to his advantage and provoking him. Then like I think just that and the actual physical strain of them like both going at each other, both of them are like the kind of guys that would normally have other guys go do the fighting for them.
Yeah, no.
And then I think it also plays into the fact they wanted to like show, it was another kind of character moment for Oswald, that after Maroni dies, then it's the fact that how like he compulsively, like he needed to feel like he was the one that killed him, and he tells everyone he killed him because no one was around to see, and he
have
still
the heart
shoots
thing.
him and stuff.
Still
And
gets
then
him.
he's still like talking to him as if he's like alive after he's dead.
Why'd you have to go do that? Why'd you have to do that? I don't know. I
Yeah,
always
he's like
find it.
telling him like you won, like I won, I beat you, and it's like the guy's already dead.
Yeah, well
And
dead.
so I think from narratively, I think that's why they went that route.
Okay, I still love the fact that every time I see him, I'm like, oh, it's Mr. Krabs and Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, no, he's in everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much because
He was in Gen V. He was in
Gen V, and I just watched Dexter New Blood, and he plays a bad guy in that too.
yeah, Shawshank Redemption,
Yeah,
iconic one. He's a guard in that.
yeah. Oh, and he's in
I mean,
Ahsoka.
he's in like a million things.
Yeah. As soon as I saw him pop up, I was like, all right.
Yeah, what did you think about how they've wiped both I guess that's tends to be what they do with most kind of like Batman stories. Like Falcone and Maroni are kind of like the prelude to the more like theatrical Batman villains we think of, right? They're the kind of more like normal kind of criminals out there, and then they kind of give way to the even crazier ones, and that's why they tend to not like last very long in any Batman story.
No, I think no, they really don't.
Like it's much
action.
like in the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, I guess Falcone in the Dark Knight trilogy never technically dies, but he's driven insane by Scarecrow, and then he's like just kind of off the board. And then Maroni in the Dark Knight gets like killed by Two-Face. So yeah,
and they're gone. Look, I think it gives a clean slate. So it's like, the mobsters, they're done with everything that happened with Batman and the Penguin, they're done. So
well, yeah,
now,
it makes sense, like especially with the show, like the Penguin, like being the one now that's in charge of all kind of the mob stuff, mostly.
Yeah, so it fits in now that the mob's got this face as a Penguin, he's full in power. He's more like his comic book version.
Yeah, and we're sorry. I guess I don't know. I know I'm asking you the questions too as much as you are me, but
Oh no, it's fine.
But yeah, what did you think of how like what's it called? Like were you surprised with? I was kind of wondering. One thing I was really wondering in the finale, like, what are they going to do with Sophia? Because I'm like,
what I've heard,
like, they sound like they want to keep her around for the Batman Part 2 or just something in this universe in the future. But I was also wondering, like, how does this end though? For the like, obviously Oz isn't going to die in this show. They're not going to kill the Penguin in the Penguin show. But like, it sort of felt like, okay, how does this resolve without one of those two like dying? But so I thought it was interesting the way they kind of used that to like by him like using her to like as like a scapegoat for everything he did, basically.
I liked how it ended with her. I can't wait to see her in the Batman 2.
And
I'd love to see her team up.
Yeah, it was another thing where it was like, oh, it just felt kind of like, oh yeah, it's like once it happens, it's like, oh, that feels like inevitably like kind of perfect story-wise. Like, okay, of course, yeah, that's the worst fate she could have is ending up back in Arkham.
I thought that as well, because when I saw that he didn't kill her and she's back in Arkham, like, this is a fate worse than death. And she basically says it like, I just want to get away. Like I'd hope to get away and get away from everything.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say too, I guess we haven't talked, like we did talk about Sophia, but like I feel like we didn't talk about just how many like outside of Arkham, like how many scene stealing like moments she had.
Oh well,
I feel like weirdly
lighting 3 cigarettes.
Oh yeah, there's just some
burning that down.
Honestly, like one of my weirdly, like if I had to pick a favorite moment in the show or just one moment where I was just like, oh damn,
Yeah.
I don't even know why. It's not like the craziest moment or anything. It's not like I haven't seen similar things in other shows, but like I love that part in episode 5 where when she's like assembling everyone after killing all the Falcons and stuff, and she keeps the one guy alive to like get them together.
Yeah, and he kills him.
Yeah, like then he just like as soon as he turns his head, she just shoots him. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So she
That
was
was
just keeping him around to kill him later to like just like make a point.
yeah, get everyone together. I like how when that happened, I was a bit like, oh damn. Yep, you're done. Next.
Yeah, I
It's
also
actually,
found it funny because that guy was in Man of Steel also.
who was he in Man of Steel?
He was just like one of the kind of I don't know, just one of the other like people at the Daily Planet who I think is like an actual character in Superman comics who's a bit of a sleazebag. I don't think he was that much of a sleazebag in Man of Steel, but in the comics, I forget his name. It might be Steve
I
something.
know.
I know he like hits on all the women at the Daily Planet. That's kind of his thing.
I didn't. Yeah, I never Man of Steel. I did completely forgot until I saw a clip on TikTok. I forgot that Sophia is the mother out of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. And then she was also in, well, she's in a couple things, but like just to like kind of tie it back to more like not totally mafia related, but because it's Scorsese, that kind of inherently makes it mob. Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, she's in Wolf of Wall Street. But it was just funny because I saw this TikTok and it's like
It's funny, both her and Margot Robbie are in that. Like that was one of their kind of breakout things, and they both ended up as Batman villains.
Batman villains. That's what leads. That's what Leonardo DiCaprio. He needs to do it next. Actually, I couldn't think of another character. But no, and I think Sophia.
He was like in the running for Robin back in the day, I think.
Yeah, I know. and Spider-Man as well. Spider-Man.
I mean, it makes sense that you might consider the same actor for Spider-Man and Robin. They're both, kind of like teenager characters, right?
True. That's one word. Yeah, true. They are.
And at the time, he was like a heartthrob. So, yeah. Makes sense.
And then also, for everyone listening, it's true. There was also Michael Jackson wanted to buy Spider-Man and play Spider-Man as well.
Yeah, he wanted to play all sorts of things that were like kind of weird and not like fits for him, I think, right?
Yeah, he was.
I don't know what else there was. There was something else, but
he was.
I feel like, am I crazy? Did he want to play like? I feel like maybe he wanted to play the Joker or something, or maybe I'm making this up.
I don't remember the Joker. I definitely remember he wanted to play Spider-Man, which would have just been weird as shit.
Oh, or was it? Or there was something where it's like I think, and it must have been before because he like kind of like dyed his skin, right?
Yeah. Bleached
okay,
his
so
skin.
like, yeah, I remember like wasn't somebody like, or they kind of told him like, oh, like, and not in like a racist way. I don't think they were just like being like, oh, you don't like kind of fit the look we want, like or whatever, right? Like maybe ethnically or whatever. But then he's like, oh, it's okay, I can like paint my skin or something. Like I think he said something like that.
No.
And then it's like, oh, but then he actually went and did that anyways.
He did anyway.
And I'm like, that's so weird.
And he did it. And he did it successfully. But yeah, it's weird in interaction. But I think Kirsten 100% has awards going to her this way. She's a villain.
And I love like in interviews I've seen with her, like, I don't know, like this is the kind of woman I need to find, I guess, because no, I just mean in the sense of like the way I've heard her.
She's called the Hangman for a reason.
Oh, no, not Sophia. I mean like Kristen Milotti, like the way she's like talked about it in interviews. I'm like, okay, there's like she's like really into Batman. Apparently, she's wanted to be a Batman villain her whole life, like since she was a kid. Like she's always been obsessed with all the different iterations of Batman. Apparently, and, so I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
And she's she always like interviews how much fun she had playing this role. And the mum, did you see about the mum about Arkham Knight?
The mum?
There's an interview. Pretty sure it was the mum. She's an Arkham
Oh,
Knight fan.
like the actress that plays Oswald's mom.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
is an Arkham Knight fan.
Like the video game?
The video game.
That's pretty hilarious.
Because she's like, oh, I bought the DLC so I could get all the achievements.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's not so. Yeah, not really something you expect to hear from like a.
No.
I don't know. What is she, like 70-something-year-old woman?
No, and it's not something you do here. But then I do remind myself, there's like, I can't remember if she's still doing it, but there's like the 80-year-old grandma that was still playing Skyrim. I'm like, gaming has no age.
Wow. Yeah. No. I mean. Yeah. No. So that's cool. I'll have to look into that. About. I forget what. I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but I know she's like a pretty like kind of seasoned actress who I know I've seen in a number of things.
Her name is.
Because I mean, she was. I mean, everyone in the show is great, but yeah, she was great too.
Where are you?
I also I recognized the actress that played the younger version of her briefly, also from The Leftovers, another HBO show.
Yes, she did look very familiar. Where is it? I'll tell you. For the cast list. Oh, I do know that the Salvatore's wife is from X-Men 3 because I can tell by her voice.
Oh well, she's also been in a number of things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was. Oh yeah, but in X-Men 3, she was like one of the doctors who was.
Yeah,
like,
she was
making the cure.
Yeah, she was making the. I gotta remember her voice.
Yeah, she has a very, very deep, raspy voice.
Is it Carol? No. Oh, I can't find it right now.
It's okay. I would pull it up, but like I'm using my phone to stream, so.
No, I know why.
Well, isn't it just
there they go. Frances Cobb. Yeah. Yeah. She's she's done a bunch of things. What Happens in Vegas, Dragonfly, Eternal Sunshine by a Spotless Mind.
Oh yeah, that's a movie I started and I was just not in the right mood for that. I'm like, and I haven't really wanted to go back to it.
Dude, that's a great movie.
No, I know, but it just also seems like one of those movies that would like really depress me.
It's sad. There's nothing uplifting about it at all.
Yeah.
But it
is
not
exactly the kind of. I mean, yeah, you might think I'm into like depressing movies because like my favorite, like a lot of my favorite stuff is kind of dark, but I don't really like depressing movies.
Sad, depressing movies.
Yeah.
Like, so I highly recommend you don't watch The Notebook.
Which one?
The Notebook.
The Notebook. Oh,
The Notebook.
Yeah, no, that's a bit different again. That's more like, not that I've seen most of it I think, but that's a little different. That's like, okay, tragic love story kind of thing. I feel like that's more in like the vein of like a Titanic. Like I can do that.
Yeah.
I just don't like those movies that are just like, not just sad, but like depressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, isn't Eternal? I don't know. There's just like, it's one I'll watch probably one day, but the bit I saw of it, and probably if I was more in the right mood, I would have finished it, but I was just not, I think, in the mood. And then what I saw of it did not make me want to go back to it. Whenever I'm considering, what movie do I want to watch? It's not one I'm like. I think is it Charlie Kaufman? Did he direct it or he just wrote it?
The Eternal Sunshine by Spotless Mind or Notebook?
Oh, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Because I think I've seen a bit of his other stuff, and I'm like,
Charlie Kaufman.
One of the things that makes some depressing shit. I don't think I like.
One of the things I like about the Eternal Sunshine is I think just just the creativity of the way it was shot and everything is just so cool.
I mean, I guess I can't really, without really having seen much of it, I can't really comment.
Just as I know it is sad, but just how it's shot is very unique. It's I put it in line with Inception.
Can you elaborate?
As
what do
in,
you mean by that?
Like memory jumping, worlds collapsing. That's no shit. I'm not joking. That's very much like the Eternal Sunshine. Because what happens is that there's technology you can remove a memory. Essentially.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I want to say I got like maybe possibly like half an hour in.
Oh no, the weirdest shit happens towards the end.
Yeah. But I remember, like I know what the title is referring to, but
but there's scenes
on the list. There's it's that never-ending list that all movie fans have.
Yep, the never-ending list. Preach. And I sometimes look at my Letterboxd stats. I'm like, there's still so much to watch.
Which I mean, it's like exhausting, but at the same time, it's kind of like what you love about movies, right? It's like it's like endless.
It's endless going into a movie and seeing what other people enjoy. How come you haven't watched this beforehand, and diving into a new world every single time.
Yeah, no, I mean,
or going back to return to a familiar face.
Yeah, no, I mean, Gladiator was a good one last night where I just I think I'd only seen it like one time before.
Mm.
And I remember liking it, but I think I liked it a lot more even this time.
As watching it a lot older. What's your name, Gladiator?
Yeah, no, it was just like, oh man, like it was one of those movies where, like I saw in my Letterboxd review, where it's just like, okay, there's just like why aren't all movies like this? That's kind of, it was like, I don't mean that literally, but like that's kind of like, it's one of those movies every now and then you see that and you're like, oh yeah, this is like
back in the day
what a movie is.
Yeah, this is a blockbuster. This is what a blockbuster is meant to be.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, movies like they can feel
contained
like this. No, but just like, I don't know, just the production value, the way it's like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know. It's not that like they don't still make movies like that sometimes, but it just feels like more rare.
It is more rare. Or nothing against it, because I think it's really good technology. Or the stage, how they've done the Mandalorian and different things.
Yeah,
Is it The Room? No.
The Room?
No. I'm trying to think what the technology's called. Or what the stage is called.
Yeah, no, The Volume.
The Volume. That's it. The Volume.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I'm a bit mixed on. I mean, I don't know. It's like it's kind of just. I guess it comes down to practicality. Sometimes that's the only way they're realistically gonna, especially with shows where they're like having to make them relatively fast
and quick.
I think it works pretty well with things like, I know, House of the Dragon. I think uses that kind of thing a lot.
They do,
although I don't think they used it as much in Game of Thrones. I don't think it was as much of a thing back then.
No.
And I do have to say, like, House of the Dragon doesn't look as good as Game of Thrones, I don't think, overall.
Now, from one of the couple of scenes I've seen, I'm like, Game of Thrones looks better because
I think House of the Dragon still is a very good looking show, but
because they shot the Mandalorian on the Volume, and they only had one since the Mandalorian. Now they have 3.
Like in the world, or
3 of those Volume stages now.
Where? Like
Lucasfilm.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's more than that.
Yeah. Well, they could like that. Well, the Volume. There's a special stage called the Volume. I think there could be up to 5 now, but originally there was only 1, which was the Mandalorian was shot on, and then there was the 3, and now there could be 5.
Or actually, it's funny you mentioned that it comes up in this conversation or the stream, because like actually the best use I've seen of the Volume that I can think of that I know is the volume is actually in the Batman.
Well, yeah.
The Batman, like a lot of the city shots are all the volume.
Mm.
Like those parts where like he's meeting Commissioner Gordon and like the abandoned kind of building, and I think he meets like Selina around there too.
Yeah, that's where it works perfectly.
Yeah, those I'm like I never knew that was until I heard it was. I'm like, oh okay, I kind of just assumed this was practical or something somehow.
No, because they shot Batman in London, did they? Yeah, they did. Yeah, because of COVID and stuff.
But in like Pinewood.
Pinewood, yeah, Pinewood
Yeah,
Studios.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why they got to the volume. But look, what's your final take on the Penguin TV show?
I mean, like I said, it's kind of, I think it's hands down the best. I'd say it's the best live action comic book show. But also, the one that comes close, or like the other one that I'm like, that would be fair too.
Mm.
From what I'd have to rewatch it, but from what I remember, I think the Penguin was even more like flawless though. But like the HBO Watchmen was also.
Oh yeah, I never watched that, but I remember seeing a lot of reviews for that were really positive.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that one. Damon Lindelof, who did like, have you seen The Leftovers?
No.
I definitely recommend The Leftovers also. And I think a good chunk of The Leftovers takes place in Australia, by the way.
Oh.
Actually, Melbourne is where like the third season takes place.
Oh, my hometown.
Damon Lindelof has a thing with Australia, I guess, because if you remember Lost, that's what he did before The Leftovers.
Yes.
Was also like that was where they were the plane was coming from, right?
Yeah, it was.
It was Australia to LA, right?
Yeah, that crashed.
Yeah, so I don't know. So he has a thing with Australia, I think.
Sounds like it. Well, are you happy that we've only got the one season? Would you want to see a season 2 in a gap, like another between Batman 2 and Batman 3?
I mean, it kind of depends how the Batman 2 and all this universe plays out, but I kind of feel like they should just keep these as like mini series in this universe and not start drawing them out, and just I feel like there's just going to be like just be economic still to some degree with it, and just do like maybe 1 or 2 more shows, like 1 or 2 more 8-episode shows, not the Penguin, just something else.
Yeah,
because I feel like we saw his rise to power. I don't know, do we really need, I mean, maybe I guess you could have a season where he's like actually in power, but I'd kind of rather just see him in the movies at this point, and then just have another series or 2 to like maybe like something involving the Joker and Harley Quinn like we talked about, or maybe like one other show. I don't know what.
I don't think they need to do a season 2.
Yeah, I'm sure
think we got enough.
Like if they did it, could it be awesome? Yeah, but like I don't think we necessarily need it.
No,
especially with how like pitch perfect it was. Man, I know we're like doing our wrapping up thoughts, but we still I realized we didn't actually like really get into that final like twist that we talked about at the beginning.
Sorry, no, we didn't know it was Victor. No.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Victor's?
So I literally was like, I had 2 of my friends over to watch the finale, and I don't know. They said they were already starting to pick up something weird happening in that scene. But when I was watching it, I don't know. I was just in my brain. It was just like so not on my radar that he was going to do that somehow.
No, neither did I.
And in that scene, I was like, I sort of thought that scene was like, okay, we're winding down. We're winding down now. Gonna like be like, oh, this is kind of as messed up as he is. This is kind of a sweet moment. Like Vic will be his henchman in Batman Part 2.
Well, that's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, okay, probably, we'll see him this. We'll probably see him in like 2 scenes in the Batman 2. He's just going to be a lieutenant under the Penguin, and that was about it. I was
And
not.
my friends were literally saying, like, in the moment as we were watching, they're like, so is he gonna like kill him or something? And I'm like, what? No, like Vic's the
He's
one
not
guy
going
that's
to do
safe.
that.
He's not gonna do that. And then like as soon as I finish saying that, it like starts happening, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Shit.
I just was like, yeah, I was just kind of speechless. Even though, like I said, after I processed it, it felt like, oh, well, of course, that's like inevitable.
I know, and I feel the same thing. As like I was shocked too when he killed him,
And
and
it
I
was
was
just
like,
so like, oh, this is happening. He's just he's just like gonna just choke the life out of him.
choke the life out of him, take his money, get rid of his ID, and just leave his body.
It's just so like I can't. That's why I was comparing it to like Game of Thrones, because there's a few moments in Game of Thrones where you just feel like gutted, because it's just like you just feel like it's that show, and this show does such a good job of like just making you feel just the raw like injustice of what's happening, like on so many levels, like just how wrong it is, not just messed up, but just like how wrong it's like he literally like saved Oz's ass so many times. He was just fully like just there for him.
Yeah,
and he could have he could have just bailed on him, and then he came back.
Yeah, he could have bailed and gone with his girlfriend. He should have just bailed and gone with his girlfriend on that.
Yeah, and then as soon as he realized as soon as he didn't do that, he sealed his fate to die. Because no matter what he did, Oz was going to kill him, clearly, because he did everything, and he did.
That's it. And the whole time he's telling Vic, he's like, yeah, we can do this. You know, the world's not made for men like us. We have to take what we want, and then you just straight up murder him.
He's like building him up. It's like he's building him up this whole time. You think like, okay, he's like, yeah, it seems like he really does have a soft spot for him, right? Like, and he like he's one of the few people that Oswaldo like kind of show a softer side to, a little bit, like for him at least.
Yeah.
Like where when he sees how he is after he killed the one guy before, right? Like he kills the one guy, Squid, I think, right? The used to be like,
yeah,
kind of the guy that was like
shoots him up.
He was stealing the rims for. And then like Oz is like kind of like, oh, it's okay, it gets easier, kind of thing, right?
But then, like, he's gonna kill him. So
do you think he knew he was gonna kill him or before, or do you think just like everything he did was basically in the moment?
I don't think he was always going to kill him. I think it was probably more a realization in that last episode with the fact that his mum got caught, that he was like, I can't have any attachments. I can't let this happen again.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because he alludes that he's like, yeah, we can't let it happen, Vic. I can't let you get too close, you know. And then just takes him out.
Yeah, it's so twisted. It's like, so his solution for like not wanting
close people
bad to happen to Vic is to like murder Vic.
Yeah. and just leave his body. Just leave his body, and that's it.
It was just like, yeah, it was just so like, it was really like one of those like most like those really like kind of moments in like anything I've ever seen. Again, much like certain parts in Game of Thrones is like what I can most equate it to, where you're just like, you just feel kind of like sick in your stomach. It's just like, this is so like,
how could you? How dare you?
Like, and you just want like, I mean, I feel like now everyone, you've probably seen all the memes and stuff, like everyone's showing, like putting those clips from like the Arkham games, where it's just like, you just want the Batman Part 2. You're just like, okay, this is like, you just want to see Batman like just
tear him up,
the shit out
beat
of him
his
now.
shit out of him.
It's like, oh, I kind of liked him in the Batman Part 1, and I still, in terms of the performance and like the portrayal of the character, I love him even more now. But also like, oh no, now he's like, no, I hate him though. He's like, okay,
well that's it.
I think he's worse than Sophia, for sure.
After that, yes. 100% after that. And that's the thing is, like, I think that was a great.
Sophie is doing it like for out of survival.
Yeah.
Whereas like that's what turned her into that. Whereas Oz was always, he was like evil when he was a kid, basically.
Yeah, he was. I like that this reinformed you to like almost like a punch in the throat, being like, "This show's about a villain. Here he is."
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, and it's not even the fact. It's like, and he's like he does it to like a kid too, basically. I mean, he's not a kid, but like,
yeah, a teenage kid.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's probably, yeah. It's just like
19, 20, 20, 21, 20.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it just makes you like kind of insides twist.
A little bit reinforms you to remember this show is about a villain, and he's not a good guy ever. Period.
So I can't imagine like if they did a Joker show. God, how twisted would that be?
Even worse. Multiple choice.
Yeah.
That's the way he likes it.
No, I mean, like, again, I don't think if they did a Joker show, I don't think it should be any sort of origin.
No, it'd just be Harley Quinn.
Because even this, even though it kind of gives you insight, the flashbacks, it was like, it was after the Batman. It wasn't a prequel.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I imagine if they did the Joker, like, I mean, I guess they're not, according to James Gunn, but if they did anything like that, I kind of assumed, like we said, it would sort of be taking place after the Batman or the Batman Part 2, since they've already established him as in Arkham.
Yeah, and then again,
I know we're going back to this. I know I'm going back to this again, but it's like, that's like the fact that he's in Arkham, though. It's like why do you set him up already being in Arkham if you're not going to do something like that, like playing out the Harley Quinn thing or something, right?
Well, that's true.
They literally introduced us to the Arkham, the Joker in Arkham, and he's already the Joker, and Batman already knows about him. It's like, okay, that's like perfect setup. It's like, it's just right there. I know we shouldn't. I know I keep acting like I know better than Matt Reeves, and then I'm like, okay, no, I don't.
Can you hear that, Matt Reeves? Because I know Matt Reeves does listen to this podcast. Did you hear that? Eric's telling you that he knows more than you. So shape up, man.
I'm just hoping that like that actually is like, it just feels so perfect like for this trilogy. If there's like, they gotta like do that. Something like that,
Fingers crossed that they do, because again, as we lead into it, the Batman 2 is coming out in 2026, when it's coming out, and that will be the next time we see all these characters. And I can't wait, and I can't wait to have you on the show, Eric, when we go review that and see how many of our theories were right and wrong.
And 2 years away.
I know, but don't worry, we do get Superman, but before then.
Do you think so you don't think we'll get any other of these shows before that one? Doesn't sound like it, I guess.
No, I don't think we will. Not with basically a year and a half away. Maybe a short, like a short YouTube short we'll get on there, or just like a small.
No, I don't want like just too many things. Anyways, like I said, I don't want it to.
I don't want.
I think there's like a real pandemic right now of like spin-offs of spin-offs.
Too many.
Yeah.
Too
many.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, Eric, thank you so much for coming on this episode. As always, appreciate greatly. You were the best person to come in for this. Any final words?
Shit. I think I was gonna say something, and now I'm forgetting. Something about Batman.
Of course.
Oh, of course. Okay, it's okay, I guess.
That's right. Well, look, as always, we're going to put all Eric's details in this episode. So definitely go check out his socials, subscribe to his YouTube channel, subscribe to his Letterboxd. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Light, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.